Folks, welcome to an all new So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Saturday episode. We are covering Real Housewives of Orange County, part 3 of the reunion, the last OC of the season. So let's celebrate, man. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, like Dorit going down a canyon. We are going to have some fun today. I am going to get angry. I am going to scream, potentially laugh, maybe make some points, and we're going to get through it together as a baddie family. How are you guys doing? Are you good? You're in the weekend. We did it. Listen, we had so many good shows this week. We did the Beverly Hills recap. Welcome back to Beverly Hills. We had the Salt Lake recap with Victoria Larson from House of Villains was on right before we started the Salt Lake recap. But that recap, I keep thinking about Meredith's bangs. My God, just legendary behavior out of some bangs. And then we're doing the OC recap. We also had comedian Yasser Lester, who directed and co-directed and wrote his first film, The Gutter, which I think check out if you get a chance. Sophie Ross was on this week. It's just been a really solid week, and I appreciate you guys all tuning in for 1, 2, all of them, whatever. What up, chumps? Any Jeff Lewis listeners out there? What's up? I had to call into Jeff's shows today because he brought up the last moment of this really intense third part of the reunion, where I told you guys earlier in the week, I said, make sure you watch until the very end because they pick back up cameras for a very revealing scene, and I am going to lose my ever-loving mind talking about it in a bit because I think there is so much bullshit in that last scene, and they end with this, everybody, all the OGs hugging. They left off Katie and Jenn Pedranti. We'll get into that, which is whatever. But also Heather and Tamra, fake friends. Listen, I believe Tamra serves a purpose. I do believe that, in terms of Housewives and villainy on Housewives, I think Tamra is a legend in that sense. I still am very confused about Heather's path this season and what she's chosen to do and the moves she's making. But having that information about John Janssen actually hearing Shannon's accident for 4 months, and sitting on it, not even bringing it up at the actual reunion. And it really, that hug just seemed so phony. And I think Shannon bought it hook, line, and sinker. And Shannon, I know you're not listening, but my God, do not fall into these same traps next season. Do not, listen, just be really careful. Be really careful. But Gina turned out to be the best friend right there on that couch with all those ladies. By the way, did you notice Rebecca was telling me, I didn't even think about this, and I was like, that hug was the same hug we got at the end of the Summer House season, this season, when they all came and hugged Lindsay. The same. Bravo loves to end the season with a nice big old female hug. And it's supposed to make us feel all warm and fuzzy but I'm sorry, you don't sit on important information like that for 4 months. You just don't. It's gross. That's why I always say these are coworkers. These are coworkers more than they're friends. Because could you imagine a real friend going through something like that and having that information? So anyways, I had to call into Jeff's to just yell about this because I just thought it was so icky. Where do we start? Because you know what? We're going to start with an Instagram post that was posted last night. Or there's a couple Instagram things. Shannon posted something I want to talk about, and Alexis posted something I want to talk about before we get into the actual recap. And both of those things, well, one of the things is going to enrage me. One of the things I actually thought was very funny and well done. I think I already asked you guys how you're doing, but if not, how are you? I think I did. I'm also very tired. I didn't get really good sleep last night, and I had doctor appointments today, and then I just finished. I guested on The Reality Is with Noor. If you haven't listened to this podcast, The Reality Is, I recommend it highly. But we laughed for the last hour and a half about all the Housewives shows. I was probably, I think it's a great episode. So I think that comes out. It's probably out right now. So go check that out and give Noor a follow. I think she's fantastic. What else? Patreon.com/so bad it's good. What up, baddies? I'm going to New York tomorrow morning. So I'll be in New York. I'll be recording with Sophie on Sunday, but tomorrow is my one day of the week where I don't record podcasts. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I got my audiobook. I'm listening to Josh Brolin's new memoir, the actor Josh Brolin. So I'll listen to that. I got some new music. Kendrick Lamar dropped a new album out of nowhere. He Beyonce lemonaded it. I listened to that today while I was hiking. That was a good album, and I'm listening to Father John Misty's new album that came out on the same day. And I told you guys this a week ago. I've been listening to all of Elvis Presley's back catalog after I listened to that Lisa Marie Presley book, and it's interesting. I'm in the 70s Elvis albums era. Because you had the late 50s, the 60s, and then the 70s. And the 70s is when he got into the jumpsuit, the white, hey, what's going on? It's me, Elvis. Yeah, I want for the money, I do for the show. I'm ready to get ready and go get, don't you? Step on my blue suede shoes. Alexis Bellino sucks, and John Janssen too. So that's what I've been doing. I don't know why I felt the need to share all that with you. Okay, we're going to have fun, though. We are going to have fun. So let's just start it off with Shannon Beador posted on Instagram. And Shannon Beador, God love her. I'm still Shannon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shannon said, that's a wrap, season 18. And she posted, you had to zoom in, but it was wire transfer services. And like we talked earlier in the week, she has settled the lawsuit with John Janssen. So it is not going to trial. This will not be a jury scenario. I mean, I think this is potentially would have been more insane than the Diddy trial. But it says John Janssen settlement in full, $60,000. She wired the full amount to Johnny J. There's no payment plan here. Full amount. How you like them apples? And she wrote, enjoy. At John W. Janssen, at Alexis _Bellino. And I thought that was petty at the highest level in the best way. Like there's bad petty, there's Tom petty, and then there's good petty. And I think that is great petty. I think that is the level of petty that we should all aspire to because she earned that petty. You want this fucking money? Choke on your Ferragamos, Johnny J. Listen, here's your 60 grand, stuff it. Here it all is. I never want to see or hear about you again. And also, I love the tagging of John and Alexis. It serves so many purposes, right? It says to the audience, here, my work is done. But also says to the audience, oh, good luck. Maybe you'll use this $60,000 in your wedding. Know that Shannon Beador paid for it. Anything that you do this summer, any vacations you... Wait, are we even close to the summer? No, we're in November. Anything you do this holiday season, that's Shannon Beador money you're spending. And I know, yeah, it's still money and that sucks. And it's Shannon's money and that sucks. But I thought it was the right move. You say you owe, here you go. I don't want to ever deal with you again because I'm telling you, and I've told you all season long, if Alexis wasn't on this cast, John Janssen wouldn't have been quote unquote disparaged, his reputation ruined if Alexis wasn't on the show. Alexis did so much more damage to John Janssen's reputation than Shannon ever did. Like, did you ever listen to my old OC recaps where I'd be like, I'm John Janssen? I would always say, because he seemed like he was one of those guys that was like buttoned up angry. Like he'd be like kind of smooth on the surface and you just feel like there was like the tension underneath where he'd be like, I'm John Janssen. I live on the water. Like he just seemed buttoned up angry. But we would do it as a joke, and he didn't really have any scenes, so it was like, whatever. But Shannon was going through, obviously, what Shannon was going through. And then when they broke up, I mean, I talked about it on the show. I was like, yeah, that's good. They seemed like a toxic couple. Cool. Anyways, sayonara. But then Shannon runs into a wall with her car, and that really made you feel sad for Shannon, right? But also, like, Shannon, you gotta clean it up. And so for Alexis to come back this season, first off, I thought it was so wild of the producers to do that because it's really dangerous when somebody has like actually taken it to the level where they have gotten arrested, that there are charges filed and you know, alcohol is involved. So it's a real slippery slope. And like, we don't want to make this situation worse. So sometimes when you're in those real life scenarios, reality television, go figure, does not make it better, right? Like Sandoval going through this on television probably didn't make it better. Because then you have all of us yahoos talking about it. You're trying to figure out the right path forward. And then you have your own castmates in this dungeon going, "You're an alcoholic! You're a drunk!" Like, for Shannon to get through this season, like, really honestly, even if you don't like Shannon Beador, it takes a lot. I mean, really honestly, I don't think Tamra could have done it. I don't think Heather could have done it. I mean, honestly, all these people that you think are strong, if they had all of that shit thrown at them, that your whole life is being thrown down the tube or feels like it. And then on top of that, Alexis is brought on, who is dating your ex. And there's obviously mad shit that's happened in that previous relationship. So Alexis Bellino, like, just imagine that. I always say, put yourself in the situation of your ex-boyfriend, your ex-girlfriend, your ex-whatever, and then say you have to do a show with them because the person on the show is now dating your ex. Like, it is so bizarre and so toxic. And it also was a great gift to Shannon, right? It's so bad, right? It's so bad, but then it's almost a gift. And I wonder if the producers ever thought of it as a gift toward Shannon, because they knew, and I'm giving producers a lot of leeway here, potentially they knew that that was going to make us empathize with Shannon, that we would eventually root for Shannon, because we'd be like, how much can one Duchess of Corona take? How much can Shannon withstand? When is she going to fall apart? Like, each week I was like, is she going to fall apart this week? I mean, is she going to piss her Spanx this week? Like, what is going to happen? And she had a couple rough moments, but nothing to the level that I thought we were going to see. Like, I truly thought she was going to drop out, or I even said many times she shouldn't have done this season. And I was wrong. I mean, first off, I think she needed to do this season financially. I think she needed to. But also, it just shows you life is weird sometimes, right? Life sometimes works out the way that it should, in a just way. Like, she is having to pay for what she did wrong. She's accepting responsibility over and over again. She's paid back money that is said that is owed her. She has, I mean, the drinking thing, obviously she's had some drinks during the scenes, but I will say most of the other women on the OC, we saw them get a lot more sauced than Shannon ever did this season. I'm looking at you, Miss Espresso Martinis. And like, I mean, listen, Emily Simpson cracks me up when she drinks. And I do think if I was on a reality show, I would be drinking like a fish, because I'd be so nervous and it's so insane that I would need that. And that's probably why I'm not on a reality show. But I don't think Emily Simpson drinks in her actual everyday life, right? I think that's probably a shooting thing. But Tamra says she doesn't drink in her personal life, but we saw Tamra getting hammered right up until the final episode of the season, where she was like, you know what? It's a bad look, because of the FBI night at Katie, Janella, and Matt's place. So I think it was kind of nice, because sometimes I want, it's like, I think this is the way it should have worked out. And Alexis, I just will never understand. And I will say I've had a change of heart, because if you listen to this show, or even on Jeff's show a couple weeks ago, I said, or maybe that was even this week, maybe it was this week, where I was like, listen, I think you got to bring Alexis back, because you see what it does to Shannon. You see what it does to us, the audience. We get actively engaged. We get upset. We get angry. We make memes. We do podcasts about it. So it's a lot of good content. And then potentially we'll get a John Janssen wedding season. And that's going to be even more insane. And that's what I was really thinking and feeling up until this week. And I watched the finale, the recap that we're about to recap of the third part. I watched it, and I thought Alexis gave an unusually poor performance. And I realized that, no, I don't think she should come back. I don't think she will come back. And I think the show, it would be, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I just imagine it's not going to happen. I think this story has been told. I think this is a good end to the story. And with Shannon paying John Janssen off, I think this is where we leave it. And I think if Alexis wanted to come back, I think they kind of dug their grave with certain statements, and especially that scene at the very end where he did admit to Heather and Tamra that he did hear the accident. Yeah, I think we're done here. And the thing that bothers me about Alexis is like these people, there's a type of person that always screams about the truth. You don't know the truth. I have the Lord on my side. The truth, the truth. And then they're confronted with actual truths and they're like, you don't understand. No, that's not it. We've got receipts. We've got this. We've got this. It's like, they're told like, no, this is actually what, like she even knew that John had heard the accident. Where was that truth all season? You're just sitting on that as well, Alexis. Now that makes you complicit. How are we supposed to trust you as a character? And yes, they didn't get to show that you had lost your mother 3 months prior, which is horrendous. That you're an amazing mother, I think, to your kids, right? It would have been interesting to see some of those things. But as Erica Jane, you know, when she bet it all on Blonde, you bet it all on John. You bet it all on John. And I don't think John even needed defended in the way that you felt you needed to defend him. I felt like you brought him up more than other people brought him up. I truly, truly believe this. So you fiercely loving somebody, which is no crime, but on reality TV, when you're a friend of, and the other person has gone through a horrendous year, is really something that you should have thought out. And especially if you were suffering after the death of your mother, which, my God, I get completely, that I don't think this was the season for you. And I'm just so tired sometimes, especially of people that have been on the show before, that are aware of the show, that keep up with the show, to then cry foul afterwards and say, I was used. I was used. I'm sorry. You know the sandbox you're playing in. It's not changed. Maybe it's gotten worse in some ways. But the people, the Brandy Glanvilles, the Bethany Frankels, yes, there is a toxicity to these shows. And sometimes, man, it is fun to watch. But you have to know what you're signing up for. And I think at this point, especially people like Alexis Bellino, especially people like Brandy Glanville, but I'm mainly speaking about Alexis, know what they're signing up for. And I think they have this highfalutin fantasy that like, oh, it's going to be different with I have love I'm in love. And that's going to be my story, is how much in love. So you're almost thinking of yourself as a main character, even though you're hired as a friend of. It's ego. And I really, up until this week, was like, yeah, bring Alexis back. And now I'm like, no, I think we're good. You know, they usually don't do casting. I was talking to Jenn Pedranti and Katie Janela on Jeff's about this, is that last season Jenn said she didn't get it's like a couple weeks after the reunion airs is when they start like kind of making calls. And I think Crystal Minkoff said this as well. So we'll see. But my thing is bring everybody back. Bring everybody back and maybe add somebody new or a friend of. But I think the Alexis storyline is closed. And she's a TV star, as she told us last episode. She is a TV star, so hopefully she'll land on her feet. And I think I'm not a cruel person, but man, I really do think John Janssen really does like the spotlight. And he's probably, you know, if you met John, if you hung out with John, he probably is a decent guy to hang out with, I guess. But I'm sorry, when you crave the spotlight, you know, and I think Alexis craved it as well. And I think in that sense, the show brought out the worst in them. And I really want them to have a happy marriage. There's no ill will for either of them in terms of like, go on with your bad selves. Like, my God, if you truly are in love as you say you are, you won. You won. And you got 60 grand. Go to Vegas, baby. Bet it all on John, man. So you won that. I mean, so that's a little bit of my opening statement, my opening thoughts. You can tell I'm really fired up. And so this is what, like last night, I was having trouble sleeping, right? I was all amped from doing the Salt Lake City recap. I put it out. I go to bed. I start, fiddling around on TikTok and, music blogs and reading all the stuff I read. And then I flip to Instagram and it's around midnight. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, hey, it looks like Alexis Bellino posted. Oh, because everybody's posting like end of the season, right? Tamra posted like double middle fingers. And I was like, oh, what did Alexis write? And I was really tired, but I was like, let me give this a read. And My God. I mean, this thing is longer than the Bible. And I was like, wow, I'm one of the first people to see this. And then I was like, oh, should I repost it? And I was like, no, I don't want to be involved in it. Oh yeah, I even have it. The screenshot, 12:39 a.m. I read this. And Alexis, right? And it's a shot of Alexis with her reunion earrings, you know. And she writes, I just had a chance to watch the reunion of Real Housewives of Orange County season 18. Thank you for specifying. I'm letting everyone know that I'm broken by this season. I was already broken by losing my mom 3 months prior to filming, so it was a difficult decision to sign back on. Yet, I went in thankful it brought me out of bed and out of my depression. I thought John Janssen did that. But also John Janssen kept you in bed because the first episode you were talking about how much you guys do the hippity dippity. But I get it. It's good to get out and do things, right? She continues, but now I have been beaten down so badly, so wrongly, and so many truths left out. So much left on the cutting room floor that would have never brought so much hate to me and my family. There are receipts, many, and they will, all capital letters, be brought out this week. There's a timetable. Alexis Bellino has 7 days to respond. Is this like that? Once you watch that little girl coming out of the well on the Ring video, something bad's gonna happen to you in a week. Well, this is great. A nice veiled threat in an Instagram post because you got a bad edit, you feel. Also, my thoughts when I read this and I was like, they will be brought out this week. My prediction is you're gonna watch her pop up on like Heather McDonald's podcast, or she's going to start a podcast, because I feel like, I mean, maybe 2 T's in a pod because Tamra has been friendly with her, but I feel like, I don't know if Tamra wants to poke that bear after she had to do the mea culpa with Shannon and kind of mend that fence. I don't know if Tamra's going to be rushing to poke the Shannon bear so quickly. I could be wrong, but those are my predictions. I don't think it's going to be some blog, but I think it's going to be a podcast. So she's like, they will be brought out this week. It's unfortunate that I didn't get the opportunity for them to be shown at the reunion. And by the way, if you watch that, like the end of the first episode of the reunion, when Alexis comes in, she literally has like a filo folder with like all of this paperwork with her. I forgot to mention it on the podcast. And then I watched it and I was like, what the fuck is she carrying? She was carrying like all of these, like it looked like a bunch of Xeroxes. And I'm like, oh my God. Everybody needs to chill the fuck out. But I didn't get the opportunity for them to be shown at the reunion, although they were brought by me and they were very available to be shown. So now John and I will bring them in our own voice. Oh, maybe it's like a singing album. Maybe it's like me and John will be duetting Islands in the Stream. Islands in the Stream. I'm John Janssen. That is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong? Sail away with me. I hate Shannon. This is never how I would have thought or wanted it to happen. I also want it to be known that I've never thought I'd be brought back this season to be the villain. Okay. Did you think about what was happening in your life that I mean, this is what I'm saying. I only think it's ego where you thought that this, in the situation you were in, was going to work out good because Shannon ran into a wall with a car. So you thought everybody was going to turn around on somebody that we had watched for like 9 seasons. And John, like I said, this was never the Real Housewives of John Janssen. It was Real Housewives of Orange County. John was a very periphery character. I care more about Terry Dubrow. I care more about Eddie Judge. I mean, like listen, literally, I care. Dude, John Janssen isn't worth 80 Shane Simpsons, right? That's like, I need, like, wait, is that right? No, what I meant to say was 1 Shane Simpson equals 80 Johnny J's. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? She thought she was like the lead character. Then she goes, I live in love. It doesn't sound like it. I live in love. I live in the hills. But she lives in love. Not anger or hate or villainous, but also great. Good. That's amazing. Like, also, I realize I don't think Alexis walks around 24/7 being a villain. I just thought this was a really bad scenario, and I knew she wasn't going to look good. We all knew she wasn't going to look good. But do I think it makes her a 24/7 villain? No. Do I think when these situations happen and then she makes them worse by posting, I think it doesn't do herself any favors. It's another bad decision like coming on this season of the show, even though I'm so glad she did. Unfortunately, this season made a hit show. At my and John's expense. Oh, come on. There's other thing. We had other, Shannon did a boudoir photo shoot. That was fun. And, it wasn't just you and John. I thought my beating all season would be finally advocated for at the reunion and the truth would prevail. I mean, the truth would, what? Is there a big truth? If Shannon killed somebody, please let me know. But other than that, buzz off. What truth? And then she goes, sometimes God has a different plan. God's upstairs going, ha ha ha, I'm controlling this reunion. Yes, that's how God sounds. I will now use my own platform and my voice to share the truth with you because I do not live in toxicity, falsehoods, hateful behavior, victimhood, or lies. I signed on to reality, ... And now I will bring the reality to light. I will never act or become a victim. I will simply live with God and stand in truth. He always prevails. # stay tuned. And then 2 red heart emojis. So I really love the bringing in God at the end. And now God is like a friend of, or one of the main cast members where God's going to prevail now. It's not even Alexis. We're doing that. God is now the one. Obviously, what my theory is that potentially, even though I don't think they let him know for a couple weeks, I think maybe Alexis got wind that she was not coming back last night and was like, fuck this. I mean, 12 in the morning, she's posting this. So, and I listen, I know Johnny J is, the common denominator between Alexis and Shannon is Johnny J. Shine a light on Johnny J. I think he might be the issue with both of these ladies, or one of the issues. But is Johnny J really going like, wow, that sounds good. Real good. Poetic almost. I really like it. Yeah. Love the stuff about God. Love the hashtag at the end. Like, is Johnny like, yo, could we just chill maybe? We just got the money. Let's just chill. The season's over. Why don't we just go back to living a normal life? Like, is anybody living in the real world in OC? Like, hey, come on. We still got to go to the Quiet Woman every week. We don't want to be made to look fools of. Like, dude, you're just going to keep this going. You're not even going to be on the show anymore, and you're going to keep this going. That's what, so everybody just needs to chill out. Except for us. We're going to have fun for the next couple of hours with this. But I don't know. There's part of me that felt bad for her because I just felt there was an ignorance on her part of realizing what she was walking into. And I think when you're so so up on love, you're filled with the spirit of like, he's my man and I'm in love. And you've got that coursing through your brains. You think you could lift a pickup truck. You're like, I'm so strong. And I think like I said, she just thought she was the lead character, went in, realized, like, honestly, that she was there to annoy the fuck out of Shannon. And she did her job. I mean, I'm curious to, like, just really, like, the more I watch these shows, the more I'm interested in how these shows are put together. Like, how did they talk to Alexis? Like, oh, no, Alexis, we're fascinated with the story. We want to see what's going on with your kids. We want to talk to you about your mom. Like, do they tell her things like this? Because I think the reality of the situation, I just think everybody involved, they've been in these shows before. And the obvious, I mean, when we heard Alexis was coming back and that she was dating John Janssen, we all had the same thought. How are Alexis and Johnny J the only one? And by the way, the reason why he didn't sign that non-disparagement agreement, because he wanted Shannon to be able to talk about him all season, and he wanted Alexis to be able to talk about her. That's why he didn't sign. And now it's over. Johnny J might never be on our screens again. I mean, maybe they'll do like Love After Lockup. Maybe they'll be on some marriage boot camp. Wasn't Alexis already on marriage boot camp as one of her TV star things? We're going to go over her IMDb in a second, and we'll go over what makes her a TV star. But I just thought, man, if she had held out a year more, more solid in her relationship with John Janssen, I think it would have made Shannon answer a little bit more for her actual issue. But once that John Janssen and Alexis got involved, like I said, it gave us so much empathy towards Shannon that it really boosted up Shannon. So it's like I was talking about on Salt Lake City this week, where Heather should have been kissing Bronwyn's ass because Bronwyn gave Heather a gift by not having her on that Palm Springs trip, because Lisa Barlow all of a sudden treated Heather Gay like an equal. And so that was a gift towards Heather. Sometimes these gifts don't feel like gifts. They feel like punishments. But then you realize, oh, it's a gift. Right? It's hard to get through, but then you realize us, the audience, we pick it up and we're like, we see Shannon. We feel bad for you. Alexis, boo. We're like pro wrestling fans. So I think that is the end of the Ballad of Alexis Bellino. But we're going to talk about her because she's a big part of this last part of the reunion. Let me look up imdb.com right now. Well, let's go over Alexis Bellino's resume. Let's see here. Alexis Bellino, TV star. Her IMDb bio says Alexis Bellino was born on the 19th of January, 1977 in Hannibal, Missouri. She is an actress known for General Hospital, The Real Housewives of Orange County, and People TV. She was previously married to Jim Bellino and Jeff Barry. Okay, so these are her credits. In 2012, she played a news anchor on General Hospital. Nice. She did 93 episodes of The Real Housewives of Orange County. She's been on 5 Watch What Happens Live. She made 1 appearance at BravoCon. She was on 2 episodes of Below Deck. She was on 4 episodes of Jeff Lewis Live in 2019. She did WeTV's Marriage Boot Camp Reality Stars. She did a 1 episode of a show called Poker Night Live. She appeared as herself on What's Up Orange County, which I think is a morning talk show in Orange County. She played Alexis Bellino in 2015's Real Scares, which was a TV series. She appeared in 1 episode of Tamra's OC Wedding. Oh my God, I forgot that was a Bravo miniseries. In 2013, she was on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. She did Jay Leno's Jaywalk Reality All-Star, where Jay would like, hey, what's up? It's me, Jay Leno. What's going on with these guys? So in 2012, she did 1 episode of a TV series called Spirit Fashion Show. And then in 2011, she did 1 episode of a TV series called Lopez Tonight. Okay, so TV star. But once again, I want to say, I had Alexis on the show a couple of years ago during the pandemic, and, she was a nice person. Like I'm saying, she's not a villain. She's probably very nice in real life. I think the power of love and the power of God is not making Alexis think correctly in situations of professionalism on a TV show, right? And also, she locked comments on this Instagram post, and it feels like she's just likes to dig herself a deeper hole because she has this courage of her convictions, where it's like, go have the courage of convictions of your love and your God in your real life. But on reality show, just know you are a small piece of an overall puzzle. And so it's very frustrating. And also, lock comments. But if you're going to post something really vitriolic, you're going to get comments back because we watch you as an audience. We're supposed to be watching you. You guys are gladiators. We're the crowd screaming, finish him. That's what we're supposed to do. So then you can't lock comments, and it just makes you well, why did you do it in the first place? Because you want your truth to be your truth, and you do not want to answer to anybody else. You couldn't handle it in the reunion. You told Andy you were about to walk off at one point. If these ladies keep talking over me, that's what they're going to do. It's the reunion. You're not in a glass box with a microphone, so maybe a podcast is the place for her to get her truth out, because she will not have to deal with anybody question, like how many times did Shannon Beador get questioned for her actions or get called out this season or just flat out get called out by an alcoholic, get called an alcoholic again and again by one of her alleged best friends from the show, Tamra? I mean, Alexis got it easy compared to Shannon. I just think she thought she was going to be universally beloved. And that's why I think John Janssen did not do her any favors by having her go on this season. I think it would have been a whole different ball game a season later. And we'll see what happens. Listen, I reached out to Katie to ask why they weren't in that final scene. So hopefully we'll get an answer at some point in these next couple of hours where I can tell you guys what she said. But I wanted to also talk about the ratings. I know some people don't care, but I always pay attention to these things. So the Housewives. So overall this season, the average on Real Housewives was a 0.609 million. So night of like same day viewing was 600,000 viewers, right? And at a 0.14 in the key 18 to 49 demographic, which advertisers, those are the ages they like to advertise towards, right? So the first part of the OC reunion got 0.673 million viewers with a 0.16 in the demo. The second part of the reunion got a 0.568 million viewers with a 0.13 in the demo. So the second part of the reunion dipped. And then the third part of the reunion was higher and it got 0.603. Not as high as the first episode, but it recovered from the second episode dip. So we ended with 0.603. So thank you, Alexis and Johnny J. But like, listen, we're not talking millions of viewers. This wasn't a Scandival type event. Like it was a solid performance, but it was also a fantastic season of OC. And Alexis was a small part of that. Yes, but there were so many other things. She's there thinking once again, she's the star of this season. Shannon Beador was the star of this season, right? So the other thing I wanted to read to you guys, Andy Cohen, our king, did an interview with Deadline Hollywood Daily, which is a, entertainment news site that I love. But also they're doing that Miami Fan Fest. If you guys are out in Miami, I hope you're having the best time ever. I wish I could be there. I'm so jealous. Let me know how it goes. He was doing this interview, and we'll cover more of the interview next week, but I wanted to focus on the ratings part of it because my thing is the day of ratings have dipped so much compared to how Bravo used to do. But we also know that we have Peacock, but they don't release the streaming figures, so we don't know how they do on Peacock. So Cohen was asked about this and he goes, hey, funny you asked that. I was just fishing around Twitter and there were fans posting about the overnight ratings for the shows. Let me put it to you this way. Anytime I ask the folks at Bravo, hey, let's talk about these overnights, Bravo will say, let's wait because this is not what we're measured by at this point. I think it's important to look at the bigger picture, which is that the viewership for this portfolio of shows is really big. They're just watching it differently. So it's kind of what I was hoping for or suspected, that the dip in those ratings just meant that more people were streaming it on Peacock, which appears to be the case. And the other thing that kind of adds credence to what Andy Cohen is saying is that Comcast, there has been like a big split in terms of MSNBC and NBC Universal. And Bravo is a huge piece of this puzzle. I'm trying to find the article here right now so I can explain it to you. One sec. Okay, here it is. So Comcast just announced this week that they were going to spin off its cable networks except for Bravo, which is a huge vote of confidence. So basically like MSNBC, the couple, I'm trying to think of the other channels, they're going to split from, they were all grouped as one, like Bravo, they were all under the Oxygen, they were all under the same umbrella, but now they are splitting. And Bravo is going to be staying with the NBC Universal. And Andy says, listen, that, it is a huge vote of confidence. That's exactly how I viewed it. I was like, what a tremendous vote of confidence in something that we built. And I think it really makes sense. He said, we have an incredible partnership with Peacock. And I I know it seems like Peacock is a very sticky home to our programming. It makes sense given the passion for the Bravo brand that there is a streamer like Peacock that they can feed each other basically. And so I think that makes great sense. And I'm relieved because I think that the Peacock Bravo partnership is really strong. So I'm relieved in that sense. And I'm also gratified that the overlords felt that this was worth being in their portfolio. So basically, NBC Universal and Comcast, like they ditched, they're splitting up things. But Bravo, in my opinion, is on the side of the good split. Like Bravo is a key asset according to what I've been reading, which means that Bravo is very, very healthy. I mean, God, we have Married to Medicine premiering this Sunday. Set your DVRs, right? Southern Hospitality season 3 is going to be insane. Did you guys watch the trailer? I even know things that aren't in the trailer that happens. You guys catch up with Southern Hospitality right now. And then today we just got our trailer for the new season of The Traitors. Something wicked this way comes. It's me, Alan Cumming, and Tom Sandoval, dude. We got our first look at the new season of Traitors. Tom Sandoval wasn't in the preview that much, so I was wondering if he gets kicked out maybe earlier. Then listen, I'm telling you, I know people are like, good, kick him out early. No, dude. Like, I'm telling you, Sandoval he always does something wacky where I think we want to keep him around. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's a vote of confidence for Tom Sandoval. I'm just saying he's going to make it interesting. And he's going to say, like, did you guys even watch that Special Forces on Fox when he was on there? He made that hysterical. He takes it so damn seriously that I think you're going to want to keep somebody like Sandoval, even if it's just to make fun of him. I know and that's just personally me. I just want to do recaps of Tom Sandoval on the Traitors. Okay, so that was our little catching up with numbers on Bravo. But OC, I think this was a fantastic season. Let's do the power rankings before we get into the recap. Okay, so let's go over power rankings. This is going to upset some people. And I'm going to say this is based on my personal judgment. But here we go. Number 1 on the power ranking. A lot of people are going to disagree with this. You got Gina Kirschenheiter. What's up? It's me, Gina. I can't believe I'm number 1 in the power rankings for So Bad It's Good. Woo! I'm going to update my real estate resume on LinkedIn. Yeah, Gina is my number 1. She's most improved and she's my number 1. And in that last moment with Shannon, I feel like she's one of the only true friends. She stood up for Shannon when it mattered most. And I hope Shannon will not forget this. I thought her personal storyline, it was a little hazy, a little secretive, but I think we know that's because Travis, huge balls Travis, his ex is causing a lot of problems. His ex is asking bloggers to post about Gina and all of this stuff. It's really super weird. So I thought she handled it delicately, but we got some information. But I thought she was great. She didn't bow down to Heather this season. I thought she really came into her own. So Gina is my number 1 of the entire season. Yeah, crazy, right? Number 2, Shannon. Fantastic, Shannon. Now, if you had not drank at all this season, I might have bumped you up to number 1, but I totally understand. And I think you did drink responsibly. So you're my number 2. My God, I'm still Shannon. Yeah. You did it. You killed it, girl. You killed it. Take this good energy and make something next season of it. Step into that power. Okay, my third, Jenn Pedranti. Jenn motherfucking Pedranti. Jenn sealed her 3rd place win when she nailed Tamra against the wall at that London scene. I knew she had it in her. I didn't think we were going to get it this season. I thought it was going to be next, but my God, was I wrong. And she's human. Yeah, there's some questions about her relationship with Ryan, but that's why it's going to be great to still have her on the show, because those will be answered in time. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Where do we go from here? We got to go. It's a toss-up for me. I was with Emily and Katie. Katie, I think, held her own, stood strong in the Heather, because Heather Dubrow, guns blazing at Katie, really hated the paparazzi storyline. Heather kept bringing that up, and there seems to be this these women have all thought or think that Katie is some master manipulator, really get bothered by Katie, when Katie has always just seemed kind of really nice, a little quiet, and I'm really excited to have her find her voice next season. But I think she did a really solid job because most people would break. We've had seasoned housewives break when Heather Dubrow gets angry at them, but Katie stood strong. Now, Emily Simpson, I just think Emily's funny. I think she's comedic without trying to be comedic. Or, you know what? No, I think she knows she's funny, but it doesn't annoy me. Like she makes me laugh. She does. I think she's fun. You know, her and Gina have been kept around so long where they finally became essential to the show, to me. So that's, you know, you can go either way with that, you know, 4th, 5th, or 5th, 4th, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Then we got to go Heather Dubrow. Heather Dubrow, I thought, had a really bad season because I think Heather Dubrow has everything, and I mean everything, going for her. And for her to get rattled over storylines like paparazzi and did Emily Simpson's kids badmouth Heather Dubrow, and for those to rattle her like it seemed that it rattled her, shocks me, on top of being friendly with Johnny Big Dick Janssen and Alexis Bellino. And, you know, and then holding on to that information, I thought was classless for somebody that is classy, for somebody that's fancy. I thought that wasn't fancy and it wasn't classy. Last but certainly not least, Tamra. And by the way, she is last place, but I think there's great power in last place because if you're going to fail spectacularly. She gave us something to be angry about every episode. I mean, she swung wildly and she missed. Very rarely did she connect. Will we see Tamara next season? You're damn right we will. And it's going to be really fascinating to see how long she remains friends with Shannon next season. Who will be the person that Tamara potentially throws under the bus? Or will we get a new Tamara once she starts going to therapy full time? I mean, really. I mean, so by the way, when last place, I still think that's something because that's like, wow, I really got stuck in the muck and the mire. And then I don't count friend of, but Alexis Bellino, you know, friend of, last place. Alexis, really bad. I think if Alexis had laughed off a lot of this and realized the dislike for John Janssen and him dating you coming back, I think if you had laughed at it, if you had had maybe a little bit more fun with it, but it makes it seem like your relationship with John is just intense. And I hope it isn't. I hope you guys are actually in a good spot and you know, best wishes. I truly don't think we will see Alexis back. I could be wrong, but those are my power rankings. What are yours? If you're listening on Spotify, I think you can leave comments on the episodes now. Try to be nice, but let me know your power rankings on Spotify. And also, if you're there, give us a 5-star review. But yeah, that's our power rankings. That's my whole monologue. This whole thing is a fucking monologue, right? I am so tired right now. What are you guys doing? What are you up to? Where are you listening to this? Are you in the car? Are you on a hike? Are you with family and friends? That's what I like. I like to imagine a big party with family and friends, and they're like, hey, let's turn on So Bad It's Good and listen to this Ryan fella as we have some sophisticated wine and charcuterie, some meats and cheeses. Okay, I'm just stalling because I don't want to get into this, but let's do it. Okay, part 3, Real Housewives of Orange County, season 18, recap. So this is the Peacock version, which is extended. There's 6 extra minutes. Ooh, a geek's delight. The description that the cable company gives us says, a face-off between Shannon and Alexis. Tamara and Shannon discuss the future of their friendship. And this episode, the third part of the reunion, picks up with the scene that we see at the end. Like, all of a sudden, we're seeing clips of this scene of like, I can't believe it. What? What the fuck? I can't believe it. And then all of a sudden, a chyron comes in where it says, 36 hours earlier, ... You know, when they use ellipses, goose pimples everywhere. My nipples get hard. I'm like, holy shit, 36 hours earlier? What? Zoinks? They pick back up cameras? Andy Cohen says, tonight, the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion concludes. And we see little clips of what we're going to see that night. And, you know, like, I just wonder how excited Andy Cohen gets when he gets to say the voiceover of the reunion concludes. So we pick up exactly where we left last week, where Shannon Beador is like, every single person on this cast have come up to me saying, I could never do what you are doing right now. Filming in this situation. And Alexis is like, and it's not easier for me, Shannon. And Shannon goes, you made this choice, Alexis. And Alexis is like, so do you. So did you. So do you. So did you. Like, Alexis is like guns blazing. You know, there is a, like, you know, because you're Monday morning quarterbacking this thing where you're like, if Alexis had been a little bit softer going, I realize what you had went through, girl. I realize. And like, you know, kept it like, hey man, I know I have this girl's man at one point. I know I have him now. So let me, you know, the Lord does say to be empathetic. Like, the Lord, be empathetic to one another. Like, but you know, I imagine he did say something like that. And for Alexis to just keep, like, she's really just gloves off. Alexis goes, yeah, Shannon, you could have easily not signed your contract. And Shannon's like, this is my job. I've been here for 10 years. I took your job 10 years ago. I'm still sitting here. I'm still sitting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still Shannon. And Alexis hits us with the, I've been on TV for 15 years, Shannon. Andy Cohen's face is like, And she's like, 5 different shows, Shannon. I read you her resume earlier. And Shannon goes, oh, you're a TV star. I didn't get a good look at what I was dealing with here. Do we got a TV star? Ooh, is that a David Hasselhoff in our midst? Ooh, oh, is that a little Gary Coleman? Oh, we got a TV star. Hey, did you hear that, Gina? We got a TV star with us. I don't know why I made Shannon a cowboy all of a sudden. Anyways, Shannon, great line. And even Tamra is starting to realize, you know, you just wonder what's going on in the machinations in her head, is starting to realize, okay, Alexis isn't doing what I told her to do, which is chill the fuck out, you know, and just kind of ride the wave. She's going for it. But everybody's laughing, right? And Alexis goes, you know what, Shannon? I didn't say star. I said I've been on for 15 years. Oh, thank you, Shannon says. 15-year television star. Alexis keeps going, mini TV shows. And then Shannon goes, Heather, let's pull up her IMDb. Oh my God, Heather gets triggered when IMDb gets brought up from last season, right? And Heather goes, let's not throw any shade at the IMDb. And everybody's laughing. So now everybody is kind of laughing at Alexis. And Alexis goes, you know what, Shannon? You're so bitter. You're so bitter. You're so bitter. And Shannon's like, Alexis, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to talk about you. Get married. Congratulations. And Alexis is like, stop talking about me. And Shannon's like, I don't talk about you. I don't talk about you. And Alexis is like, you are obsessed with John and I. I mean, the edit appears that Alexis is not telling the truth. Maury Povich, what do we say? That is a lie. And then all of a sudden, Bravo, especially in this part, starts doing like this weird, like, I don't know, Pinterest like framing where you're seeing a bunch of, it's like a Brady Bunch like opening on acid where I see Shannon's reaction, Tamara's reactions. We got a camera on Jenn, Pedranti, and Gina, and then we got Alexis in a big box. I mean, in what kind of pick hell are we in right now? And Alexis is like, why does his name ever come out of your mouth, Shannon? You don't need to talk about him. And Andy's like, well, if he's suing her, he's, you know, if he's suing, like explaining, Alexis, look, hey, it's Andy, your boss. If he's suing her, he's, you know, she's going to have to talk about it, right? And she's like, well, why is that okay? Why is that okay? And Alexis is like, you talk about his teeth? And it was about his bad knees. If this Shannon Beador talks about John Janssen's bad knees one more time, John's at home going, damn it, did she bring up, I'm John Janssen, did she bring up my knees again? Ah, my business relied on me having good knees, and now it's out. That and my big old turkey teeth. Ah, Carl Radke said I'd look good with them. And now Shannon's put me on blast. I can't show my face at the Quiet Woman anymore. Alexis, I've got an idea. You go on this season and you defend my knees and my turkey teeth. Can you do it? I would love to do it, Johnny J. But Alexis is like, yeah, he said the bad knees. He couldn't walk up the stairs. Shannon said this about you. He can't walk upstairs, Andy. And then she zooms in on his shoes. And I think she's talking about social media posts probably. And Andy's like, well, does he have bad knees? Andy goes, I'm concerned now. Does he have bad knees? And Alexis is like, get over it. Move on. And then we see 3 images pop up on screen. One, John Janssen before the big turkey teeth. One with the turkey teeth with Alexis kissing John on the side of the mouth. And then one of Shannon's reactions. And his teeth do look bigger and better. I don't mind his original teeth but I'm not a teeth guy. My teeth are all fucked up. So who's to say? I wonder if he got those teeth with any kind of brand promotion or something, you know? But anyways, Shannon's like, I'm sorry, you got the new teeth with you. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's because of the new teeth. And Alexis is like, he's very happy. He's very happy. And Shannon's like, turns to Gina. He said that to me as well. He said, yeah, he said that he's finally happy when he was with me. And he's like, Shannon, Hayden from Cincinnati says, Shannon, you said the most important thing to John is that people think he's a good guy. And Shannon's like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How do you think he coached Alexis into creating that narrative? And Shannon's like, I would like Gina to answer this question because she said that she talked to Alexis and said, I have my own relationship with John. He didn't speak to me kindly at the party. And then we flash back to that scene from like, was it last season or the season before where John got angry when Shannon was talking about Gina and John was like, who the fuck does she think she is? And Shannon's like, okay, sweetie. Okay, calm down. Calm down. You don't want to upset your knees. Calm down. Calm down. And then Alexis in the first episode of this season talking to Gina in that first episode where Alexis was already, Shannon wasn't even involved in this scene. And Alexis goes, John had not eaten that day at all. He was hangry. He was hangry. And Gina's like, there's always like someone out there protecting this man and saying how amazing he is. And Alexis is like, maybe because he's a good fucking guy. Do you think the Lord's like, Alexis, with the language, come on. Calm down. Did you ever think about that, Gina? I like that John's anger was because he was hangry. It's truly amazing. You got to get this guy a snack pack. This guy was not fed because Shannon didn't feed this man. So Shannon's like, yeah, Gina said he was hungry. And Gina was like, hangry. Alexis goes, when I first got with John, Shannon, what is got with John? Oh, I think she meant like hook. I thought like got with like sex. There were so many negative things being said about him. I Googled his name. Once I felt like I was starting to like him, I Googled him, Shannon. And Shannon's like, I never said anything about him. And Alexis is like, all the negative stuff that you lied and said about him. And she's like, wait, I never said anything. And Alexis is like, I had to ask him. And Shannon's like, in fact, I defended John. Shannon's like, I defended John. So I do love that at a certain point, Alexis was like, and this is getting pretty hot and heavy with Johnny J. Let me take a visit to Google. Holy shit. But Alexis needs to know the truth. She needs to know the facts. Everything at her disposal through Google. And Johnny, this is what I'm saying. This girl still loves you. Alexis still like is throwing her whole season of OC away for you, man. Even after all those bad things she read, she found a way to disassociate and blame it all on Shannon. I mean, that's amazing, dude. Keep her. So we flash back to an example of Shannon defending John at last year's reunion. And Heather goes, when Emily said, he called you a pig, Shannon, and said you were fat. And Shannon goes, no. He would wake up and say, why you gotta be so pretty? Why you gotta be so pretty? And Heather's like, may I just finish this? And Shannon's like, every morning when we slept together, why you gotta be so pretty? He might have been talking to his niece. Who knows? Andy goes, hold on. In this reunion, he goes, I will say this. A whole issue on the show last season, Alexis, was that she was defending John to the death when the other women were saying, this isn't good. He shouldn't be in. And it seemed like, if you will forgive me, Shannon, that you had confided things in all of these girls about your relationship, but you didn't want any of that on the show. Is that correct? And Gina's like, saying, yeah, that sounds right. And Shannon's like, the only thing that I confided with all of these women is at the first half of our relationship, I paid for everything. I have the receipts. I could have shown up here with big graphs. If we go to court, those numbers are going to come out. And then we flash back to the London trip where she's showing Heather and Emily all of her receipts, all of the crumpled receipts. I was tabulating all of it. And it's like these crumpled up papers, and it's like close 5,070, like all of this shit. So, by the way, I mean, I'm glad that the trial's not going to happen, but my God, that would have been a great day if Shannon was like, Your Honor, may I approach the bench? I have the receipts from our relationship. I've written them all on these little crumpled Post-its. It was so funny. So she's saying the only thing she complained about was the first half of their relationship, that she paid for everything. And we see that clip where she says, oh, this totals right up here to $60,000. And Emily's cracking up. Do you even know what Excel is? Shannon goes, in this reunion, the only thing I've said negative about John is that I paid for everything at the first half, and I did. What else am I saying? And then you say, oh, I just keep getting shit on. How have I shit on you, Alexis? And Alexis goes, this isn't about me. Oh, now this isn't about me. I'm in the middle of this now because the lies keep continuing. I have my own receipts. And Emily's like, I don't understand what the lies are. And Alexis is like, Emily, I want to talk to Shannon. And Emily, you need to butt out. I'll tell you what you're not going to do, Alexis. You ain't going to be telling Emily to butt out, because that is triggering to Emily. Like, there's like 3 boxes of their reactions, and Emily's reaction is like, did Jesus Jugs just tell me to butt out? Did she bring up my butt? You will not, like Meredith Marks, you can leave, Alexis. And Emily is angry. She's like, really? Because you get to butt in all the time. And Andy's like, okay, hold on. I would like to speak to her. And Alexis is like, I need to speak to Shannon alone. Shannon, we did forensic accounting. Oh my God, that would have been a great scene as well. Alexis and John with a forensic accountant. Oh God, a dream scene. Alexis goes, you did not pay for everything. You did not. We have the numbers. So if you would like to bring yours, I have the numbers. And Shannon's like, then we'll compare my numbers with John's numbers. Alexis goes, I have the numbers of every year. And she's pointing to something at the count. The 365 days. And she's like, why? Why do you have them? Why? Because I had to do it. And Alexis is like, this doesn't involve you, Gina. And Gina's like, it's not your business. Like, my business is real estate. This isn't your business. John spent $350,000 on the relationship before he even paid the $75,000 in loans. And then he's like, then why didn't he sue her for more if he spent that much? And Alexis goes, he only wants the loans back. He's a pilgrim. He doesn't need much. He just needs the clothes on his back. He's not going to go tit for tat for what he bought. And Gina's like, well, why didn't you take the offer? She offered to give him. And I was like, yeah, she offered to give him the money. And Shannon's like, when I offered him the money, why didn't he take it? And Alexis is like, you did not. And that is another lie. And Shannon's like, how is it a lie? And they're like, she offered the full amount. And Alexis is like, no, you did not. You offered $15,000. with it was like something like, I don't know, it was like a 3-year payment plan. And Shannon's getting her hand involved now and like making circular motions. Like she has like a puppet in her hand. She's like, you get those emails. You get them. That apparently are your business, TV star. And Emily's clapping her hands and she's like, our loans paid back in payment plans. And Alexis is like, 3-year payment plan with a non-disparagement. Emily's like, our loans paid back in payment plans. This is like turned into these in scene of A Few Good Men. And Katie is like, asked Jenn, are all loans paid back in repayment plans? And Jenn was like, well, I don't know because I'm not actually getting paid by my ex right now. Hey-oh, and they both laugh, share a nice little moment. They're like, we ain't in this shit. Cute moment. Then Tamra says, why, Shannon, were you willing to pay the full amount if you don't feel like it was a loan? And Shannon does quiet Shannon. She goes, because I know, and then kind of looks at Tamra, I know the legal fees are going to be more than that. Yeah. And Tamra's like, gotcha. And he's like, Alexis, Brittany from Easton, Pennsylvania said, what the fuck's up with your hair? No, she said, when you posted your engagement announcement on social media, there was a photo that appeared to have lemons in a bowl in the background. And another where John seemed to be wearing Ferragamos. Why would you go out of your way to be so petty and take a dig at Shannon? And Katie goes, lemons? Katie, wow. Katie's showing us she does not pay attention to the rich history of Real Housewives of Orange County. And we flash back to a scene with David Beador. And we see Shannon on one of her first seasons going, David, there's some lemons in the refrigerator. And David has the bowl of lemons. He's like, why can't I use those? Because those are there for the feng shui. There need to be 9 lemons in there at all times. And he opens the fridge. He's like, geez, I can't keep track of everything. And Alexis is like, I don't even know what do lemons even mean and what's wrong. He's got 5 or 10 pairs of Ferragamos. He's got Ferragamos coming out of his urethra and his butthole. This guy shits Ferragamos. I don't know. It's all he wears. Some people are sneakerheads. John is a Ferragamo head. And then Shannon goes, you should buy him some new shoes. And by the way, Heather, they weren't on sale. They were like $895. You like that, Heather? And Heather goes, I was in my interview. I just Googled it. And we flash back to Heather Googling it, going, they're on sale. $375 to $475. So in Heather's world, this is cheapo. These are Payless shoes, right? They're not that expensive. And then Alexis goes, but Shannon, I bought him $800 shoes too. And I don't sit there and talk about what I bought for him. Okay. Listen, I don't know Alexis's financial situation, but nobody should be buying this man $800 shoes. Nobody. Maybe chill on a year. You have kids. Like, no. I really, truly hope this is a lie. I hope she has not bought him $800 shoes. Shannon goes, oh, well, he didn't know what Ferragamo was before he met me. He thought Ferragamo was a river in Egypt. And then Alexis goes, where's the 10,000? Alexis becomes more Minnesotian, like Minnesota-like, as like when she goes, where's the $10,000 necklace he bought ya? And the Louis Vuittons. He's not scrutinizing everything. And Shannon's like, he didn't buy me a $10,000 necklace. Yes, he did. Oh, it's in the account. We have it, Shannon. We have it. And she turns to Gina. He didn't buy me a necklace. Give me a break. And he's like, so did you do that stuff on purpose, Alexis? I mean, listen, the lemons in a bowl, I really don't think she did like set decoration. Like a lot of people just have lemons in a bowl. The Ferragamos, like, I don't know. Like part of me thinks that was like a coincidence maybe. And I know I could be daft on that. But also I just think if you're announcing an engagement or something beautiful like that, you wouldn't want to have it tethered with any ex. You wouldn't want to send any signal because the signal would just be your love. You don't like that. Those posts shouldn't have anything to do with Shannon. So I hope it was just a coincidence. And then Alexis goes, well, nobody needs to be on my Instagram if they don't want to see my life, though. My God, I don't want to see your life after you posted that thing at midnight last night. Emily says, Alexis, you're minimizing her relationship with John. And we flash back to Emily going, do you think that when you post things on Instagram, Alexis, and it's a direct dig at Shannon, that it's a little immature? And Alexis is like, that's not a dig at her. He is my boyfriend. I do not have one thought in my mind at Shannon at the time or my ex-fiance, Jim Bellino. But I think maybe, Heather goes, but I think maybe taking it down so that you can assimilate into the group. And Alexis goes, if anyone thinks that when I post something about Johnny and I, and Heather goes, not on purpose, that I'm thinking about Shannon, she is not a thought in my brain. The only thing on my mind is Johnny J's dong and those Ferragamos. And Gina's like, well, then I guess maybe we are asking you to think a little bit about Shannon, though. Think a little bit about Shannon. Think a little bit about Shannon. So we're back at the reunion after that flashback, and Emily goes, we all come out of a relationship with our own perspective and thoughts and things about the relationship, and you don't allow her to have any thoughts or anything. You're just, every time she talks or says anything, and Alexis whips her head and gives one of those looks like, I'm having a stroke. Emily's like, you tell her that she's a liar and that she's wrong. You know, how can she be wrong? And Alexis goes, she has lied. Emily goes, how can she be wrong about what the relationship was to her for those years? Well, I never said that she lied about her feelings, Emily. You can't lie about feelings. Feelings are feelings. Oh, you could lie about Are you crazy, girl? You can lie about feelings. And he goes, okay. Megan from Santa Fe said, Alexis, were you disappointed that Heather shared information about your sex life with Shannon when Shannon wasn't in the room? Shannon goes, I think I was in the room. I just didn't hear. And Alexis goes, no, the minute the question got asked, I think she left. And we flash back to Emily going, Heather. Heather goes, yes. How often do you and Terry have sex? And then Heather goes, it's been drier than normal. Gross. Don't want to think about it. And she keeps going, drier, but drier. I'm like, oh, God. Sorry, guys. I got to go, Ralph. No. Alexis goes, Tamra then said, was pushing on me and saying, you need to answer. And I was trying not to answer. And we flash back to that scene where Heather goes, who else needs to talk about their sex life? And Alexis laughs. Ha 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 ha. And Tamara goes, I'm not going there with you. And then Heather goes, she said it was 4 times a day. 4 times a day. And Emily goes, you have sex 4 times a day, Alexis? And Alexis goes, a true lady does not talk about her sex life. 6, or maybe 9, or maybe 69. That's where the person puts the mouth at the... anyways. It's a family show. She goes, a lady doesn't talk about her sex life, but we've already had it twice today. And Emily's like, zoinks, oh my goodness, jeez. And then she goes, and we still have tonight to go. So it could be 2 or 3 more tonight. We don't know. Tamra leans to Heather, goes, she had sex twice today. I mean, poor Terry's dry as a bone, according to Heather. Heather goes, I don't need to know that. She just told me that, Tamra says. In the reunion, Alexis goes, everybody around that table was asked about their sex life. It was only shown that I made the statement. I never would have said that, ever talked about it. So it came out. Yeah, I mean, that's how things get edited down. Yeah. Because also, we really wouldn't have cared. You know, right? Like, the person we do care about in that moment is Alexis. And Shannon's like, super appropriate at a luncheon table with 18 people. Heather goes, I thought Shannon was in the room. We flash back to a scene with Heather talking to Shannon on a later episode and going, what I didn't like from Alexis Shannon was that then everyone was talking about sex and sex lives and everything. And I thought that was, did you not hear that? And Shannon goes, no, I didn't. Heather goes, you might have been in the bathroom then. But it was massively, wait, she was like talking about sex with John? Like talking about sex with John? And Heather goes, oh, never mind. Oh my God. I can't believe the producers let Shannon walk away when they talked about it, but also I can't believe there wasn't a camera in there. Could you have imagined that? Alexis there talking about the sex life, and then you slam cut to Shannon with her Spanx around her ankles in a toilet. Oh my God, it would have been genius. But Shannon in that flashback goes, "Are you serious, Heather?" Heather in the reunion goes, "I wasn't telling her. Everybody went around the table and asked," Alexis said. "I tried not to." Shannon goes, "We get it. We get it." And he goes, "Christian in Thousand Oaks, California said, Heather, last year you thought John just wanted to be in the spotlight. Do you still feel that way since he is again dating someone on camera this season?" Heather goes, "Do I think he wants to be in the spotlight? Yes, I do think he wants to be in the spotlight." By the way, great. I'm so happy Heather was honest with that answer. Like, I think that is the right answer. I'm glad Heather answered it honestly. Shannon goes, "It's clear. It's clear." And he goes, "Okay, well, we interviewed John and Alexis this season, and I want to share his thoughts on a couple of these topics. Here's what John had to say about his relationship with Alexis." At first, when he said that, I was like, are we just going to get like random? Here's what John has to say about the World Series. "I like the Dodgers. I think they're a great team." Here's what John said about the Oscars. "I thought Good Will Hunting was a good movie. I'm glad Matt and Ben won. I just feel like they really haven't made a solid project together since." Here's what John Janssen says about panda bears. "Well, as my friend Craig Conover says, I don't believe they're real." You know what I'm saying? No, but he actually is, so that talking head interview that we saw like 8 or 9 episodes ago that really shocked the hell out of us. I guess they had, unlimited time with Johnny J, and they just peppered him with questions that they are now breaking out for the third part of the reunion. So it's super wild and uncomfortable to watch. I guess that's better than having him on the soundstage, but still uncomfies. Alexis continues, "I want everybody to know," sorry. Sorry, you guys, I'm so tired. We cut to John and Alexis, and John, just a frightening pose, because you look at Alexis looking at John adoringly, and John's like, "I want everybody to know that our relationship is real. It happened organically." And there's a Shannon reaction camera in the bottom left hand of the screen going, oh. And Alexis is like, "Yeah, organically. And I was single for a year before we met." And then Alexis goes, "Although other people have other things to say, but we know the truth." Good. Know the truth. Go live happy ever after. Leave. John goes, "Neither one of us were looking. We weren't looking. Not at all." Like, "I wasn't looking either." This is like bad improv. And the reaction box, Shannon's like, "Are you kidding me? Single for a year." John says, "These last several months with Alexis have taught me dental care and take care of your knees." No, he said that, if we can make it through all of the chaos and the negativity that people are throwing at us, we can absolutely make it through anything. And Shannon turns to Gina. "He said that to me as well. He said that to me as well." You guys are asking to be thrown shit on. Like, literally, you can't explain it to these people. And he goes, "Okay, so there was a narrative online that you were dating him to get back on the show, Alexis." And Alexis is like, "Mm-hmm." And Shannon goes, "John was texting me he loved me 2 months before he met you." And then we pull up receipts, September 19th, 2023. "I'm sorry I have upset you, Shannon. Not my intent. I hope you can get some rest, and I will see you plenty tomorrow. I love you. Red heart emoji." I would love if John just types out emojis, red, REDHEARTEMOJI. And he goes, "So he said he was single for a year. Is that what he said?" Shannon goes, "Yeah." Alexis goes, "You admitted it. And by the way, being a friend with benefits, it's okay. It's okay." I like Alexis like, "Yeah, doing the hippity dippity, and I love the thought of John having to re-ask Shannon to be his girlfriend. John Janssen is a 60-year-old man. And Shannon's like, "We got back together. We got back together." Alexis, "Who cares? Nothing matters except after November 18th. So it's like AD and BC. It's like, BJ before John. No, BA before Alexis, and AA after Alexis. Emily goes, they were in a relationship for 5 years. You can't say where they were friends with benefits. Alexis goes, you were not in a relationship for 5 years. He broke up with you. And Gina's like, he said he loved her. And Alexis goes, I asked him the day because I knew you were going to say this. I knew you were going to say this. And Gina's like, how do you know everything and you weren't even there, Alexis? You're a time traveler. That would be crazy if that was a big reveal at the reunion that Alexis is a time traveler. Then I would have said, yeah, let's keep her another season. Let's definitely keep her. Are you a time traveler? It's scary. Emily goes, I mean, they're all screaming over each other at this point. And Shannon's like, we got back together in April. And Andy's like, Andy? Alexis is like, Andy, they cannot all three gang up on me. This isn't college. This is between us. I'm not taking a 3 gang up on, okay? The bullies Tweedledee and Tweedledum can go away and let me handle with Shannon. And Emily's like, you know what? Don't you ever fucking call me dumb. Don't ever call me dumb. You are an idiot. Don't fucking call me dumb. And she's like screaming over Heather Dubrow. And Emily's like, you are the dumbest girl I've ever fucking met. Cut to break. Woo! You are the dumbest girl I ever fucking met. Put it on the remix. But that's like Emily's trigger. Don't ever insinuate she's dumb, right? You are the dumbest girl I ever fucking met. And Alexis is like, oh, really? Are you going to hit me? And Emily goes, I don't want to hit you. I don't want to, you know what? And Alexis is like, you know what? I graduated with a degree also, baby cakes. What is this? Like a 70s detective novel? Hey, baby cake toots. And I was like, shut. And then Shannon goes, where did you graduate from, Alexis? And Alexis goes, I graduated with a degree, so you can shush it. And Emily goes, what degree? And then Gina goes, I know a lot of dumb people with a college education. Yeah, I'm one of them. I graduated college. I'm doing a fucking recap of OC. Andy goes, I just want to have Shannon and Alexis respond to this. This is the part of the reunion where you can see it's wearing on Andy. You're like, he's just looking at his life. He's like, 18 seasons. I'm really tired. I miss my kids. So he's like, okay. So he said he was single for a year, right? And Shannon's like, right, yeah. We broke up after Thanksgiving. And Alexis goes, the day after. Alexis, stop. What is this? A fucking like a calendar? And she's like, yeah, November 20. And Alexis goes, 2022. Shannon goes, but we still went on trips and we did things together. Tamra knows this. We went to the Family Feud weekend together. And we see a picture of Shannon and John backstage at the Family Feud, I don't know, TV show. Of course, John's like, of course I want to be there. I love the feud. Love it. Of course I will be there when cameras are up, Shannon. Of course. And Shannon's like, we were together every single day from then until 10 days after my DUI. And Alexis goes, did he ever ask you to be his girlfriend again? Emily goes, what? Gina goes, he said, I love you. And Shannon's like, you know what? And Emily goes, you know what? I broke up with my ex also, and we kept talking for a few months too. Oh, so you're saying you're friends with benefits with Jimmy Bellino? But Alexis goes, yeah, because you do still love somebody. You don't just get over people that fast. And Shannon goes, he's spending the night. We're spending the night. We're being intimate. Tell us less, Shannon. We're doing butt stuff. He's touching the boobs. Emily turns to Tamara and goes, how are you friends with this woman? How? No, I'm serious. How are you friends with this woman? And Tamara's like, I know. And Andy's trying like, Alexis. And Tamara's like, I told her not to do this. I told her, Andy goes, if you are single for a year, you're not going on trips with your ex and being intimate. And Alexis goes, no, it's called friends with benefits, Andy. And it's fine. I'm okay with that. And Gina's like, after 4 years, though, you're not friends with benefits. And Tamara's like, yeah, he picked her up from jail and took care of her for 10 days after the DUI. And he goes, are you all still going to the same gym? And she's like, no. No. And we flash back that, remember, Alexis, this is a scene added just for Peacock. Alexis, they all went to the same gym, and Alexis is like, it's my gym now. Alexis says, we moved to a new gym. We brought John and I there. We started going to the new gym with the trainer that is our trainer, and we're still working out with that trainer. We are working on John's knees. And Emily's like, no one's listening to you about this trainer, Emily. And Shannon's like, good for you that you won that battle. And Alexis goes, it's not a battle, and this isn't a competition, Shannon. And Shannon's like, I think it is for you. I think it is for you. You just said he's our trainer. And Ann's like, all right, guys. Alexis. Eliza from Kent, England says, you seem to put men on a very high pedestal. We've seen you do it with previous partners. And now with John, why do you make so much of your identity about the men in your life? That's a great question from England. Do you think you do that? And Alexis goes, well, that's interesting. No, I don't even know where would you even think? Why would you? That's interesting. And she's like, well, I mean, my marriage to Jim obviously was suffering. And we flash back to Jimmy Bellino in an earlier season going, when we got married, we became one flesh. Gross. Wives stay home. There's only so much time in a day to raise my children. Not our children, my children. Back at the reunion, Alexis says, during a lot of the filming that I did with you guys, and you guys saw that, but we were trying to fight for our marriage, me and Jim, and we wanted to stay together. We had 3 kids. We were trying our hardest. So I don't think that's putting him on a pedestal. Then when I met, and then Heather goes, well, you used to call him my king. Well, I mean, I'm sorry. And Heather's like, that's a pedestal. I don't go around and going, John, Jim's my... She keeps calling Jim John and John Jim. So I don't go around, Jim, my king. We flash back to another scene with Jim and Alexis, where Alexis in a talking head goes, my husband's never changed a dirty diaper a day in his life. I mean, I think maybe number 1 diaper. So he's only changed a pee diaper back in the day. He's never changed a number 2 diaper. And Alexis goes, and it's fine. He's my king. He doesn't have to change it, whatever. Back in the reunion, Alexis goes, I mean, I do have those values, but then when I met my ex-fiance, I hadn't kissed a man. I told you, Tamra, I think in like 3 years. So that's why Below Deck happened. And I'm going to be raw about that. Yes, we were all over each other. And I did think I was going to marry him. And we flash back to Captain Lee's episode of Below Deck with Alexis and her fiance, where they're like Mac Daddying not on Captain Lee. Yeah, you take this pornography somewhere else. No, ooh, gross. Just macking. Kate Chastain even's like, ooh. Kate Chastain in a talking head goes, she just got divorced, and I don't know if she's trying to prove it to her ex or her friends that she is doing fine. But you can be doing fine without having a tongue down your throat. God bless Kate Chastain. And she tells the new fiance, I love you. And he's like, hey, thanks for getting us here. You're welcome. I love you. Back in the reunion, Alexis says, we just had a very long engagement and it did not work out because there were some things that were happening and I was fighting for it. Andy says, Tracy in Chicago said, what exactly is Shannon doing to John that is so bad that is ruining his reputation? Reputation, not Taylor Swift's version, Johnny J's version. But this lady's asking, what am I missing? You keep speaking in codes. So what is she doing? And Alexis goes, she knew it was a loan. And Andy goes, so it's about the lawsuit. Well, Andy lying that it was, she never knew it was a loan. That's number one. And lying that he paid or she paid for everything. When you go through the receipts, and John spent almost $500,000 in the entire relationship. And Shannon goes, that's not $360, but okay. And Alexis goes, I have it. It's $380 plus the $75. This is turning into a math class, and God, you guys, I hate math. And he says, okay, Taylor from Knoxville, Tennessee said, Shannon, why did you assume that these lump sums from John were gifts? That seemed incredibly generous given how contentious your relationship seemed to be. And Alexis goes, and he even said that to her. And Shannon goes, it was, we were still together then. And that was midway throughout. And Alexis goes, no, one of them you were together. One of them you were broken up. And Shannon goes, okay, can you zip your flippin' mouth, TV star? And he goes, let her speak. And Alexis goes, you don't do that for me, Andy. You don't do that for me. And Andy goes, okay, well, I'm going to do it for both of you. Alexis goes, thank you. Thank you. Tamara's trying not to laugh. Like Tamara's like trying to like, she's like cracking up. And he goes, okay, so you, Shannon, thought they were gifts. You were together. In my belief, it was, he just had sold he had just sold a sliver of, he owned a sliver of a percentage of his company. So he had, and Alexis goes, he was the largest owner. Like she won't even let Shannon get a fucking word in. And he goes, Alexis, let her. And Shannon goes, oh my God, he wasn't. He wasn't the largest owner. Everyone else got 55 million. He got 5. Oh, he only got 5? Poor. And Alexis goes, you don't even know. I like that Alexis opened up all of John Janssen's books. Like, let's see the Wells Fargo accounts. Let's see, you know, she knows. Maybe the forensic accountant is Alexis. But Andy's like, Alexis, let her speak. We just had this conversation, Alexis. I'm going to let you speak. And Shannon's like, have you been together a year yet? Because I knew every intimate detail about John. Have you seen that heart-shaped mole on his anus? Have you been there yet, Alexis? But Alexis goes, we have seen each other's bank accounts. I know everything that has happened with him, Shannon. So you can butt out, and we are getting married. So just move on. And Andy goes, she has, Alexis. Trust me, she has. Which is a telling little sentence there. Trust me, she has. Because Andy knows that Shannon went on Love Hotel, which you'll see on Peacock, I believe, in January. And the word on the mean streets of Orange County is that Shannon has taken a lover, right? Gina goes, I understand that you are dating John, Alexis. I get it, right? Emily laughs. But she did have a long relationship with him. She had not 1 minute to be sad. She had not 1 minute to be sad. Watching that whole montage of how happy you guys are and all of that, that's difficult for her. We see Tamara reaction shot of her shaking her head, agreeing with Gina. And all of that, that's difficult for her. It would be, and Tamara goes, it would be difficult for anybody. And Andy goes, so do you hear what she's saying about that, Alexis? Alexis goes, yes. And Andy goes, yes. Andy says, Emily, what is your take on the promissory note coming after John gave Shan money? Does that technically still make it a loan? Emily's like, I am a lawyer. Thank you for recognizing that fact, Andy. No, you can't send a promissory note after the fact. It can't be retroactive. Then we would all do that. If someone, by the way, Heather goes, by the way, you'll get it back. Emily's like, yeah, by the way. And then Alexis just keeps talking. She's like, John texted and said, I have sent the loan documents. And we pull up Shannon's text with John, where John says, wire done, sent you a simple loan document, want to change something in it. And then Shannon says, I sent you a heartfelt email the other night and would like for us to come to a resolution. And then John says, I'm struggling with your response. Nothing is easy. Yeah. So anyways, Alexis is like saying this verbatim off the top of her head. So this is the agreement, right? And then we have another email that pops up saying, this is not a business transaction. It is a boyfriend loaning money to his girlfriend of over 2.5 years. Thank you for wiring the money this afternoon. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. I really don't know what to say about your request for me to sign a promissory note, something that was never discussed, and I am caught off guard by the timing. This is not a business transaction. It is a boyfriend loaning money to his girlfriend of over 2.5 years. I am incredibly insulted. The addition of a 10% interest and $50 late fees leaves me speechless. Wow. I'd love to read more of this. And he goes, okay, here's what John has to say about the loans. And Shannon goes, perfect. And we cut back to the talking head with Alexis and John. And John goes, Shannon needed money to pay her bills. In her time of need, she came to me for loans. And I said, Shannon, I'm John Janssen. Shannon, I'm going to help you. And this is a quote. I said, Shannon, you know how volatile our relationship is. Even if you come to hate me, you need to pay me back. Shannon's reaction cam says, wow. And in a tearful voice, she said, of course I will, John. The first loan of $40,000, her promise to me was Shannon turns to Gina. This is insane. Shannon promised that she would pay it back in 2 months. I actually sent her a promissory note, and people need to understand that the relationship was very volatile. No, we get it, John. And I was just being smart. If we go to trial, there's no doubt in my mind we will win. And there's just like Alexis is just staring straight ahead, but it's super creepy. The lighting isn't doing them any favors either. It is kind of like villain lighting. And then John goes, collecting the money from Shannon could be another story. So Shannon's still talking to Gina. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. Wow. Andy goes, what's your reaction, Shannon? Insane. I don't want to tear up because John Janssen isn't worth any of my tears. It's like I'm in a freaking Twilight Zone, Andy. Emily goes, I just don't understand. She's fucking made a full offer. If it was about the money and it was a loan, and Alexis goes, a full offer with a non-disparagement clause, which she was still filming, which when then the show would have aired, she could have said 7 more lies about him. And he would have never had any chance to talk. And Emily goes, but then you address it at the reunion. Then you address it. And Gina's like, oh, wait. Why didn't he wait to sue her until after that? And Shannon turns to Gina. He said it was a statute of limitations. And he goes, so I guess the question is this. The show's over. We're here at the reunion. She's offered the money. Why not just accept the money? And Alexis is like, perfect. Offer it again. Offer it again. Offer it again. So they didn't accept it once, but let's offer it again. And Heather's like, yeah, let's all sign it. Emily's like, she offered it. And Shannon's like, you think you're going to get the full amount that he wants anymore? You had your chance. You had your flipping chance. And Heather goes, Andy, can I ask a question? Jenn and Katie, you guys have been very close with Alexis all season long. Even after the season, you guys post a lot of pictures and whatnot. Can you speak to anything for her? So this scene, I don't believe was in. This is the Peacock. This is new. And Katie goes, well, I think I bet on the wrong horse. Now she goes, I think I understood a lot more when she talked about the non-disparagement. I got it. He wanted to be able to speak after this aired. And Alexis goes, just to speak the truth after so many lies come out. After, and Katie's like, after this aired, but I see both sides. It's just really hard to be in the middle of this, Katie says. And Emily goes, but if she signed a non-disparagement at the beginning of the season, she wouldn't say anything the rest of the season. She wouldn't say. And, Katie's like, true. And Emily's like, so that doesn't make sense. And Alexis goes, we don't know that. We don't know that. And Emily goes, what do you mean you don't know that? She would have signed it and she wouldn't have sued her. And Alexis, and do you think he wants to do that? He doesn't want to go in another lawsuit. He just wants his $75,000 back. And Emily goes, that doesn't make sense, though. She would have not been able to talk about it or him. And Jen Pedranti says, and I asked John at dinner, when we were at dinner this last time, and I said, John, the timing just looks so like you and Alexis are now together, and now we're on the show, and why now are you seeking? And Katie goes, the timing does look really strange. It looked so... And Emily goes, I said that a long time ago. I said that a long time ago. And we flash back to a scene with Emily and Alexis in Sonoma, and Emily's like, why did he wait until we were filming? And Alexis does the jerk head motion. It has nothing to do with the filming. Emily goes, I'm just asking because the timeline, it seems very suspect to me. And Alexis is like, there is nothing suspect about the timeline. He wants his money back. It happens to be now. Are the cameras up? Yeah, so be it. Huh. Alexis, when she throws her head around, it's like a weird doll. And Emily's like, you're being very defensive right now. Back at the reunion, Jen Pedranti says, I didn't know. He explained it to me. He said, there's a statute of limitations and they're up. So if I don't move on it now, and Alexis is like, he had 2 days. He had 2 days to decide. 48 hours in the life of Johnny J. Emily goes, but why didn't he ask for the money when he broke up with her? And Alexis is like, he did. The attorneys were in negotiations. That's what she's leaving out. She's deciding to leave out very pertinent informations. They were in negotiations. And Shannon's like, if I owed him money, you say, hey, by the way, there's this loan outstanding. He didn't say that. And he goes, so when you broke up, there was no conversation about the loan. And Alexis is like, nope, they were in negotiations, Andy, before we ever got together or I was on the show. And Shannon's like, oh my God. Emily says she got a demand letter for the loan in January when we were filming. And Anna's like, oh, you did. And Jen's like, way after we broke up. Way after we broke. John has never asked me to pay him either amount ever. Alexis goes, you knew the text John sent you, and you knew the email that you said you called. And Shannon's like, do you know that People magazine received the complaint prior to my attorney or me? Just like, and Alexis is like, what complaint? When they filed the lawsuit, that's called a complaint, Alexis, because you were the person that was a wacko at Jen's party. And Elena's like, Shannon, it's wackadoodle. And Jen's like, wackadoodle, thank you. We cut back to that party, and Alexis going, I have a very stressful life right now. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Kiss it, kiss my ass. Alexis goes, everyone thinks I'm so strong and that everything's good for Alexis. It's not. So she was like off the hook at that party. And Shannon's like, because you knew the next day People magazine was going to come out with an article announcing that I was getting sued. And Alexis goes, yeah, they called me. Do you know this is going to come out? They said it to me, Alexis. And Emma's like, no, you gave that to them. And Alexis goes, the lawsuit is public knowledge, Shannon. And Emily goes, no, it's not. It takes a while. Not before it's filed. And Alexis goes, public knowledge. I'm sorry. I do believe Alexis is fully lying in this situation. I believe it was a People exclusive. I believe Emily is fully correct. And I will be honest with you. I do think there is a little bit of weirdness in those emails and those text exchanges with John and Shannon. I think Shannon was offended that he wanted the money back, but I don't know. I mean, we'll never see it go to court. Shannon has paid him back the money. Done. It's done. Andy says, okay, I'm going to move on. This is what John had to say about this. And Shannon before that is like, I went to law school, just so you know. And Emma's like, I graduated and passed the bar exam. So there's that too. And he's like, okay, I want to talk about something else. There has been a lot of conversation about the videos and the videos possibly being used as some sort of extortion. Here's what John had to say. And there's tense music and Shannon's face whoops like, zoinks! Ugh! And we cut to commercial break with Shannon going, wow, you guys, wow. Here's what John had to say about that. And we cut to John again. Let me be perfectly clear on the videos. It is my intent for no one to ever see them. And the producer goes, why keep them? It was an extremely traumatic night for me and my 2 adult children. And it's unfortunate that Shannon has not taken accountability for the people that she harmed that night. And I would say that if Shannon would like to, the one person I would show the video footage to, and Alexis goes, with me in the room, would be Shannon Beador, if she wants to see what she actually was like that night and what kind of behavior she exhibited. She has characterized me as a monster on the show. If she wants to see what a monster looks like, she can view those videos. My favorite part of that was Alexis going, with me in the room. I got to be there. If Shannon's going to, this is an AMC, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. But they have the reaction cam in the bottom left and everybody's just like, oh my God. Oh God. Ooh. Yeah. Shannon, you know what? I hope Shannon is strong enough to one day go like, yeah, fuck it, John. Yeah, I want to see him. Fuck you. Shannon goes, wow, God, that was very carefully crafted. And he goes, so he says he will never release them. And Alexis goes, and he never said he would. I spoke out. I misspoke. I'm a lady, a woman speaking before a man. Not good. Andy says there seemed to be a veiled threat that the videos would be released. Yes, we all saw it. I hate that in life where like shit that we see with our own eyes. It's like, no, it was never like that. Yes, it was. Tamara goes, Shannon, do you know from your memory what could possibly be on those videos? Anyways, we flash back to Emily talking to Katie earlier in the season. Like, what did Shannon do? And Katie's like, well, there's like footage cameras of her almost running over his daughter. And Emma's like, oh my God. This is the thing about the cameras, right? I'm a little confused. Is it one incident? Is it the night she drove off and wrecked into the house? Which, by the way, the house is still alive, so we're good there. And luckily, God, thank God, no human beings were there. God, thank God, honestly. But was this the night, or is this a separate incident on the Ring cameras? I'm confused. Like, are there multiple Ring camera incidents or just this one? And, it seems like Alexis was giving full details about what were on the videos to the other ladies. My suspicion, too, is that Tamra at least has seen these videos. I don't think she'll ever admit it, but I believe Alexis probably has them on her phone. Shannon's like, what I can recall, we were in a fight. He said, "You're a drunken idiot," and I got in my car. And Katie's like, "Holy shit." Because I thought, I'm not going to leave my car here, and I don't want to come back here tomorrow. And Jen's like, "But why are we talking about the videos? What is the point?" And Jen's like, "By the way, it was a year ago. If you want to keep kicking me, keep kicking me." And Jen's like, "Why do the videos even come up?" Alexis goes, it was never supposed to be. And Anna goes, "A threat. I wasn't supposed to say I didn't want to. I did." See, this is what happens. Alexis gets all high and mighty with love, and then she just pops off, just like on her Instagram posts. And Shannon's like, "Yeah, but you did. You said multiple times." And Alexis goes, "I really thought it was just with my friends." Alexis, my God, it was your friends with the cameras there. Andy says, "Alexis, do you regret bringing the videos up?" She goes, "I regret the timing, Andy. I didn't know it was on camera." Because here's the thing. Emily goes, "Like you didn't know it was on camera. Give me a fucking break." Alexis goes, "I got questioned by this group about Shannon a lot and about John. I know everyone says don't talk to him. But in this position I was in, I was constantly cornered about John and Shannon." And now at this point, Shannon's like grasping on to poor Gina. This is why Gina's my number one in my power ranking. Her hand must be bruised with Shannon like just grabbing it. Alexis says, "I had a breaking point at that moment in Big Bear. I remember that we'd been filming 12 hours. I was really just like, God, I am just so sick of this. Like, Shannon's not a saint." And Shannon goes, "Then don't come on the show. Dating the guy that I dated for 4 years." Alexis goes, "Do not interrupt me and let me talk." And he goes, "Okay, let her finish. Alexis goes, "I was very upset. Every time I filmed, it was about John or Shannon. But here's the thing, Andy. This was not any easier for me to film this with the ex than it is for her." And he goes, "Do you think you came in too hot at the beginning?" Alexis says, "I'm not going to apologize for defending my man." Andy says, "Shannon is saying she wants this to go away. She wants to be done with it. She doesn't want to hear about John Janssen anymore. Me as well. I'm done with Johnny J. Let's stop talking about him after today." Andy says, "She offered John the full amount of money. She is waiting for a response." Shannon goes, "I already did hear a response." And he goes, "The season is over." Shannon goes, "The response is no." And Alexis goes, "No, just no with the non-disparagement." He said, "Yes, we'll do all." He was willing to take the payment plan and that. He just wanted the non-disparagement. And Emily's like, "You cannot threaten the videos. You cannot threaten the videos." And she's like, "Do you know how disparaging those video statements are?" Alexis goes, "The videos have nothing to do with the lawsuit, Shannon." "But yes, it does, Alexis, and you know it. You know it." She says, "You're bringing them in, Shannon." And Emma's like, "You brought the videos in." And Emma's like, "I can't with her. I can't." And Gina gives a face like, "Ooh, what are we going to do here?" Shannon's like, "And those false statements that John Janssen just made about me are disparaging." Alexis goes, "Those are not false statements. He painted me out to be a liar on that." Alexis goes, "Oh, really? Because that's the truth. What he's saying is the truth." And he goes, "Okay, here's the question. Why wouldn't he agree to a mutual non-disparagement?" And Heather goes, "He should now. Now it's over." And Alexis goes, "Yeah, now the season's over. Everything's going to be done." And Emily goes, "Yes, but I don't understand. He should have agreed at the time because then she wouldn't have been able to speak about him." And Alexis goes, "It does not work that way, and you all know." And Emily's like, "What do you mean it does not work that way?" And Alexis goes, "Emily, just butt out." And Jenna goes, "Why don't you butt out, Alexis? This is not your business." I mean, they're all talking over each other, you guys. Andy goes, "She just said filming's over. It sounds like they'll..." And Alexis goes, "Well, I don't know. I'm not John. I'm not speaking." "You can't speak for John. I'm just saying." Emily goes, you speak for him, though, and then you back off and say you're not speaking for him. Emily, great comment by Emily. You say you can't speak for him, and then you speak for him, and then you back off. Alexis goes, I'm speaking for him when everybody's lying about him. And now you butt into everything, too. You just insert yourself everywhere, Emily. Andy goes, okay, all right, okay. Let me land this plane. Land it, Andy, land it. And Shannon goes, yeah, time for the friend to exit the room. And Alexis goes, oh, I will exit the room. Very happily, Shannon. Andy goes, at the beginning of the season, you said that your goal was to be friends with Shannon. Alexis goes, no, I never said friends. Nope. I said amicable. And we flash back to that first episode of the season where the question is asked, what is your friendship goal for 2024? And Alexis goes, for Shannon, Beador, and I to kill all animosity and be able to move forward. And Shannon goes, I appreciate that. And Alexis goes, I said amicable. We didn't see her say amicable. Am I crazy? And he goes, so clearly that didn't work out. No. What is your goal now? He asks. Alexis, well, I mean, I feel like I'd like to go to Disneyland. No, I feel like if Katie and Heather can have an amicable relationship and be in the same group of women. And everybody's like, that hasn't actually happened. That's what do you know? Where have you been? What are you talking about? I don't think that's happened. Emily says. And Alexis goes, Jenn and Tamra have the same problem. So, I mean, if we could all just be amicable, and Andy goes, coexist. You want to coexist. And Alexis goes, because there are enough friendships formed that are real, we can coexist. And Shannon's like, zero relevancy equating those two situations. And Alexis goes, yes, there is. We were just here to coexist. And Andy goes, okay, let's move on. And she goes, yeah, bye-bye. And Andy goes, good luck with the wedding planning. She goes, thank you. And we will look out for that date. Maybe some of the women here will get an invitation. And thank you for joining us today and for having the hard conversations. We are going to be right back with more after this. Okay, so we are at break, and Shannon just waves at Alexis, like, bye. And Andy goes, thank you, Alexis. And, Gina turns to Shannon, this is difficult. It's just difficult. And Gina's like, you did good, Shannon. You did good. And Shannon's like, it's just difficult. I just hold it in, and this is what I do. And I just, and she turns to Andy. She goes, Andy, I'm sorry. I need to step away. And he's like, okay. I'll text John Mayer. Okay. And so we've got a little break here as Shannon has to step out for a second, right? Whew. Okay, so now we can get back to some normal recapping because Alexis is gone. That was like riding like a mechanical bull that was going crazy, just trying to keep up with the screaming. And I just once again think Alexis, when she gets that passionate, she doesn't serve herself. And the thing that was little highlighted, but nothing, like what she should have leaned into of like saying like, yeah, I have formed friendships with Jen Pedranti and Katie, which, I'm sure they didn't love her talking about, but that was in hopes of next season that there would be these relationships. And for new people, Jen's in her second season, Katie's in her first, they would have other friendships built up, right? And potentially that's one with Alexis because they don't have the same knowledge or even same relationship with Shannon. So they're going, okay, this is a person on the show that's probably going to get a second season as well. We should be friends with her, right? But I mean, I don't love it. I don't love how Alexis came off. I think this just she did herself such a disservice in the name of love. Andy is being made up and he's like, that was wild. And anyways, Shannon is going, I hold it in. And she's walking on the soundstage and her makeup person is like, you chewed her up. You chewed her up. And then Tamra is like hugging Alexis goodbye. Alexis rolls her eyes at Tamra. And Shannon's glam says, did you notice Tamra stayed out of it? She didn't want to get the heat. Now Tamra's talking to Andy and said, I tried to tell Alexis, like, don't be here to defend him. And Andy goes, when you're not losing your mind screaming, you understand, you can understand what you're saying. And Tamara's like, but she won't let me get my point across at all. she's like, you're a liar. So now they're talking about Shannon and Tamra. And Tamra's like, that's why I'm staying out of this. I'm staying out of this. Emily's talking to somebody off camera going, I'm really hoping that that's the last time I ever have to see Alexis Bellino again. She's walking outside to her trailer. And then they see a dumpster, and Emily's like, is she in that dumpster right there? I bet she is. And then the trash truck's going to pick her up, and then I never have to see her again. And then Shannon's like, can you believe those statements that John made? Like, for her to say I'm obsessed, like, I am so not obsessed with him. I am so not obsessed with him. I love my life. The Beverly Hills song, I love my life. Back inside the soundstage, Tamara says he did himself no favor by doing those videos. I think Emily is sipping on an espresso martini. And Emily goes, that was awful. That was awful. And she sits there like this next to him, like, she's making fun of Alexis's face in those videos. Shannon is now walking back to the soundstage. They're saying, Emily, are you good? And she's like, no, I'm fine. I don't care what I look like. Whatever. It's a size 12, whatever. And Heather goes, oh! And Emily goes, just joking. It's not. It's a medium and it's a little too big, Heather. So the Duchess has returned and she's like, sorry, I just needed to take a breath. I just needed to take a breath. Thank you for all holding. Thank you. Thank you. They're like, you're well supported, just like with your Spanx. Welcome back to the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion. We just took a break after Alexis left the stage. And there was a lot of conversation about, and Emily, and I was like, okay, well, first of all, I would like to say just in summary that every trash can needs a lid. And I think John Janssen found his. And Gina's like, oh. And Gina goes, cha-cha-cha. A cha-cha-cha. And Emily goes, I want to ask Jen a question. And Jen's like, yeah, ask because I want to know what the question is. Emily goes, when you're referring to Tamra, you will put things like, I don't subscribe to mean girl behavior. Emily goes, yeah, you do, because you're friends with Alexis. I mean, that to me, this is ultimate mean girl. I would take Tamra over that. I don't know, Emily. I don't know if you can. I mean, honestly, I want to take Emily's comment at face value. I don't know if you can compare the two. Tamara's been on this show so long, and Tamara and Shannon's relationship is so deep in a sense, but also what we've seen Tamara do to so many castmates through the seasons. It's repeated mean girl behavior, like really intense, where Alexis, you almost believe there's a doofiness about her, and she's doing it in the name of like the love of a man. Like it's a little bit of a difference. Tamara, it feels a little more self-serving. So to me, it's a little more mean with Tamara, but what do I know? And he goes, let me ask you a question. Why aren't you addressing that to Heather and Tamra? And Emily goes, I'm going to get to them. I have the whole time I was sitting there. Did I not? And Tamara's like, yeah, she was whispering to me the entire time. Shannon goes, I had a conversation. I said, I had a conversation and I was like, how are you friends with this woman? And Jen's like, yeah, we have talked about this. And Shannon's like, I have told Jen, if I saw someone treating you the way that I've been treated, I wouldn't be friends with them, but that's your choice. And Jen goes, but can I say the flip side of that? I just met Alexis. I know. They're like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And Jen goes, I don't love what's happening to Shannon. I love Shannon. Watching this is horrible. But what do I do? Just take this woman and say, and Jen's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, say shut the fuck up. I don't want to be friends with you. Because I would never, wait, you know what? But see, then this is what I'm saying. Like, this doesn't hold a lot of weight because why? Then everybody should have not been friends with Tamra when they saw how she was like saying shit about Jen. What are we even doing with our lives? And Emma's like, I would never be friends. And Jen's like, you know what I have said to Alexis? And Tamra's like, there is another side. And Jen's like, you are. She sits right next to you, referring to Tamra. Emily goes, I think there's a difference. And Jen's like, there is no difference. And Emily's like, well, to me, there is. And Jen's like, okay, then it matters just for you. And Emily's, no, I'm saying that you don't subscribe to mean girl behavior. And Jen goes, I do not. Emily goes, I get that. And you only apply it to Tamra. You don't apply it here to Alexis. And Jen goes, I have sat with Alexis. And I said, at what point are you going to bow out of this? And Katie's shaking her head, yes. And Jen's like, when are you going to let this be between John and Shannon? And Katie goes, I just called her a couple of weeks ago. And I said, you need to drop the lawsuit. If you really want this public opinion to be changed, you need to drop the suit. And Emily goes, I just don't understand, Andy. I just have a problem with everyone being complicit. And Andy goes, hold on. And she goes, everyone's talking about me, but I'm just sitting here being a little perfect, beautiful Shannon. Emily goes, I don't understand why it's okay for it to be with Shannon. Shannon goes, as being Shannon, me, I'm Shannon. I'm still Shannon. I will say, I appreciate you saying that, and I agree with it, Emily. As much as she's going to say, she hasn't come at me, she did. I saw when you guys filmed at her house, I just keep getting all this shit put on me. And we have a flashback to that scene where Alexis found out she wasn't going to be invited to Shannon's 60th birthday to London. And she's crying to Jenn Pedranti and Katie. And she's like, I'm still fucking getting always shit on. And Jenn goes, Alexis, could you really go on this trip and have a good time being around her? And Alexis goes, I think I could turn the other cheek because that's what the Bible teaches. If it didn't teach that, no, but the Bible teaches it. I mean, that's so crazy. Like, honestly, that's so crazy. Why would you want to be on a trip with Shannon to begin with? Just say, I know it's obviously the answer is because it's on the show, but like, it's just awkward all the way around. The Bible teaches me that I should be able to go on Real Housewives cast trips. And Katie goes, yeah. And I said, because of the lawsuit. And Shannon goes, I haven't put any shit on her. And Emily goes, well, it's the videos too, the threatening. She's trying to humiliate this woman on a global scale. Does that mean because they went to London global, or is that because people watch Bravo worldwide? What is that, the global scale? I was like, it's pretty much just America and maybe Canada. Emily goes, she did it. I'm joking. I know that a lot of people from overseas watch and listen. Emily goes, look, I understand all of us have bad behavior at some point. All of us do, but we rein it in. We apologize. Alexis had bad behavior the entire time and never backed down. But Tamra never backed down the entire season too. And she never backed down after the season wrapped as well. Andy says, I want to know, Tamra, where do you sit in all of this? Tamra goes, so my friendship with Alexis was just between me and Alexis. I like Tamra's like, it's a private friendship. Tamra says, when I found out she was dating John, Shannon was the first person I reached out to. I sent you a text message and I said, I'm so sorry. And we flashed that text message on the screen. Hi, Shannon. I know things are not great between us, but I just wanted you to know that I am thinking about you with all these pictures of John and Alexis. I know how hurtful this must be for you, and I'm sorry. I hope you're able to enjoy your holiday season. Anyways, ho, ho, ho. Wow. Brutal. Around the holidays. Shannon goes, yeah, I know, but Tamra, they had been dating for 3 weeks, and I knew the minute he met her, they would be dating. Isn't that interesting? You know that thing about your exes? Like, I totally believe that from Shannon. She's like, I knew the minute I saw that picture. And Tamra goes, I did not know that. And Shannon's like, and you told me to grow the fuck up amongst a lot of other things. And Tamra goes, that was because you were saying bad things about me. That's why I told you that. And Shannon's like, I said you had an ego. And Tamra's like, it was more than that. And he goes, you know what's interesting is that I was sitting here. You were, Tamra, quietly kind of defending Shannon a few times. And Tamra's like, I was. We're on the right side. And Andy goes, Shannon, did you appreciate that? And Shannon's like, I did. I really did. And he goes, and I also want to say something else that I noticed at this, as this reunion has gone on. You started by saying, Shannon, Tamra and I were never really that close, whatever. It feels a little different than, you characterized it. And she's like, I know. I'm not going to lie. She looked at me in the eye multiple times during that exchange. You didn't defame Jim. And Tamara was like, just because I'm upset with you, I'm not going to lie and say that you did. And Shannon's like, but you just even showed some. And Shannon's like, she feels bad, Shannon. And Tamara's like, I do. And Shannon's like, you just like when you saw the video, and Andy tells Tamara to be quiet because let Shannon do this. We need this for next season. I'm bringing you guys together. Let me work my magic. Shannon's like, the stuff that he said in the videos, that was hard to watch. Really, really difficult. Like I was squeezing Gina's hand so hard. My hand's falling off. Shannon's like, I started to get sweaty. And he goes, and she was doing what during that, Shannon? Shannon's like, she was acknowledging it. She gave me looks and said, you gave me looks. I know your looks, so I appreciate it. God. Tamra has to do the most minuscule, like, she gave me a look, I forgive you. God, it's got to be more than just looks with me. And then Shannon just ridiculous goes, I'm gonna give you a hug right now. Fuck it, I'm gonna give you a hug right now. Shannon, no, girl. Play a little more hard to get. Don't raw dog right. Don't raw dog the reunion with Tamra. And Tamara's like, you're gonna make me cry. And they stand up and hug each other. And then Tamra goes, I miss you so much. I've literally talked nonstop shit about you for a year, but I miss you so much. I told you this was going to happen. I told you. And then Tamra, it's a tight shot of them hugging. And Tamra's like, I miss you. I miss you. It would have been so awesome if there was a little toot. And then Gina goes, now I'm going to need a makeup touch-up again. And Tamra goes, can we try to move on, please? My ratings are suffering. And Tamra goes, I was so hurt. I know you were hurt too, and you were going through a lot, and I was harsh to you, and I apologize. But I miss us. You make me want to be a better man. And Jenn is looking at Katie like, oh, of course, yeah, she's going to tell her she loves her. Okay. Yeah, she was concerned. Okay. Such bullshit, Jenn Pedranti's saying. Jenn Pedranti is saying what a lot of the audience were thinking, because I don't know a lot of people that were like, oh, good. But it moves the show forward, right? And Tamra goes, our text message the other day, I actually printed them out because they make me so sad to read these conversations that we have after your DUI. And she pulls these text exchanges out. This wasn't in the actual episode. And he goes, you said, I know you were swamped today. I tried to call you. Call me when you can. Oh, you said to her, you are going to kick ass at traitors. You're being supported. And Tamra wrote, I'm crying right now. I can't stop. And Tamara's like, because I just found out about the DUI. And he goes, you said the autocorrect listen to my words properly. I have to deal with it. And I think this is going to be one of the most hardest things I've ever done. Tamra says, you'll get through it. You will be better for it. Tamra says, just know if I wasn't leaving, I'd be at your house right now. Tamra says, I wish I could just pick you up and take you with me. Get you out of this shitstorm. Shannon says, I'm going to need you when you get home. You said, be strong, my friend. I know it's going to be tough. And he goes, so, this is a lot of love. Because you're on the traitors. And he goes, this is a lot of love. Lot of love. Shannon goes, I know, absolutely. Yeah. And she goes, no, Annie, I tell you, Tamra, I came in here and like my therapist said, this is not a healthy relationship for you. Yes, Shannon, listen to the paid professional. Shannon, listen to your paid professional. Let's stop ignoring therapists. Yes, please. Shannon goes, Tamra, you remember that moment when you, Vicki, and I stood up and we hugged? And we flash back to another reunion where this same fucking scene happened, but with Vicki there as well. Where Vicki hugs Tamra and making up, and Vicki's like, I want to hug you too, Shannon. I'm sorry. I really am sorry, Shannon. I asked for forgiveness and I'm sorry. And Vicki goes, we are all good people. We just got a little derailed. And Shannon in this reunion goes, I didn't want to hug her that day, but I saw in her eyes what she was feeling. And the hug was the right thing to do. And I love her to death still to this day, but I saw it today. So thank you. Thank you, Tamra. Tamra goes, I'm sorry. And then Shannon goes, I'm sorry for anything. Shannon, stop! Stop! Shannon goes, I'm not proud of myself and a lot of things that I did. And then she turns to Gina, and you were involved in a lot of it. But I am proud of myself today. And Jen's like, we're proud of you too. I'm proud of the person that I have become and will continue to become. Emily goes, what she went through this season, dealing with Alexis and the lawsuit and John and watching them be happy together and the engagement and the ring and them having sex 69 times a day, I think I would have bowed out and just been like, it's not worth it. Exactly, Emily, exactly. Emily goes, I never knew Shannon Beador was that strong. Me as well. I think the audience were really impressed for the most part. Emily goes, she is fucking strong. And he goes, by the way, it was beautiful to see the two of you hug. I know you still have a lot to work through, but can I see a kiss? Could I get you to take your tops off? When Andy got super creepy. It was great to see you hug, but Could you get a little kiss? Little kiss, maybe? Huh? For old time's sake, for a little Andy, huh? Anyways, no, sorry, I'm tired. But Andy goes, I just had to acknowledge what I keep seeing between the two of you tonight, Tamara and Shannon tonight. Because it feels real, and it feels like there's a bed of love there. A bed of love. I'm gonna lay you down on a bed of love. And Tamara goes, there is a lot of love there. And then Shannon goes, thank you. And he goes, that's great. And everybody starts clapping. Yeah. Tamara saved her ass. Even if we can all know that it seems a little fake and phony, it's enough. By the way, Tamara was never at risk for not coming back next season. So anybody thinking that she was about to get kicked off was out of their mind. But how long will this new friendship stay, right? Like it's too tenuous. It's tenuous at best, right? So we come back from break. He's like, we are back with final thoughts, thank God, from the Real Housewives of Orange County. Since the ultimate goal of reunion day is to find resolution, I'm actually pretty gratified by the place we're ending things on. So what did I tell you months ago? I said, you will see Tamara apologize to Shannon. They will hug. I also told you there would be no making up between Alexis and Shannon. I said, all of my predictions pretty much came through. I said Heather would truly not forgive Katie. Anyways, Andy asked the lady, how do you feel? And Shannon's like, selfishly, I'm just glad it's over. Because it was, I can't explain to you, and I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me, but it was so freaking difficult for me to get through this season. So I'm glad it's over, and I can get a little bit of time off to spend with my girls. Her daughters are like, no, joking. And he goes, I think it was so important that when you were feeling very low and bad, how nice that you found a lifeline in Gina. And Gina's like, yeah, absolutely. I found a lifeline with everybody here. And Gina goes, in seeing that it's hard is not weak. I learned that in real estate. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's being strong and vulnerable. And Andy goes, how do you feel leaving tonight, Tamara? And Tamara's like, happy, surprised, potentially on the spectrum? No, she doesn't know that yet. She hasn't gone to her therapist. Happy, surprised. I didn't know where me and Shannon, I didn't expect this. I wanted it, but I didn't expect it. What did I also say? I said, Tamara, I hope she keeps her mouth, if she keeps her mouth shut, which it seems like she did for the most part. She didn't explode. That's another thing. Tamara gave herself the gift. Like, if you can listen to how to behave in these scenarios, Tamara could have popped off and just made it so much worse for herself. But Tamara says, I want to move forward. I'd like to extend you an offer to be on the Twats pod with Freddie. But she said, I want to be in a better place. I did not like what I saw on the show this season. And then it goes, of yourself. And she's like, yeah, I just got frustrated. I had my own pain, and I feel like I never really got it through to you or to anybody else why I was so upset. Yes, you still haven't. And I just want to point out, even when I talked to Tamara, what was that, a month and a half ago or whatever, she was still railing on Shannon. So I'm just so curious about the flipping and the flopping, and, because Tamara seemed very resolute. Tamara says, and then it just kind of exploded from there. And it was too much had gone on. And he goes, anyone else? Emily goes, I'm good with everybody. And she's like, oh, I feel great. And Heather goes, I'm really glad that we could get to a point where we really could resolve a lot of things and speak very frankly with each other. That doesn't mean everything's resolved or everyone's best friends, but I do appreciate how everyone is speaking to each other tonight. And Jenn goes, Heather and I had a nice moment at lunch. Yeah. She offered me some of her beans. Yeah. And Katie goes, I want to thank you, Heather, for coming over and saying what you said to me at the break. I thought that was very kind. And Andy's like, what did you say? And Heather was like, I said I was going to cap her off at the knees. I gave her the motion of no. Anyways, Andy's like, and Heather goes, I just said, I'm sorry about your kids. I know that must be very difficult for you. And Katie goes, and I appreciate that. And he goes, good. Well, there was a lot of praise for all of you on social media. Callum in London said, the first franchise to ever air, and they're still showing the others how to do it. Real Housewives of Orange County had an incredible season. We also have a gift for everyone. Okay, so I totally agree. You shouldn't have a decent season 18 seasons in. This is like the Grey's Anatomy of Bravo. Anyways, now we get to a weird scene where the NFL brought everybody jerseys because they appreciated the flag football episode. I'm like, is football about to be on Peacock? Is this some sort of weird, I don't know. So it's like the jerseys have like Destroyer on it, and Andy goes, I've got a real sports ball. I've got a real sports ball. Wow. But his sports ball is all like glittery and stuff like that. Anyways, Andy's like, the cocktail of the season was espresso martinis. Heather and Emily, we already prepared these because this couch is rented. We can't afford any more spills. And Andy's like, Gina and anyone else who's not drinking, we have mocktails. And believe me, I watched. Shannon took the mocktail, you guys. And so Heather does the cheers. And Heather goes, I was going to say it's a historic season, the 100th season of Housewives, starting with the original. And how about just love and blessings to each of us? I thought that could have been better. I thought, anyways, they're all cheersing. Andy has an espresso martini. And then Andy's like, why don't you two toast? Shannon and Tamra. Why don't you two? Yeah. I love when you clink glasses. Yeah. Anyways, so I thought, okay, that's the end, right? But I'm like, wait a sec. There's 6 minutes and 40 seconds left of the show. And all of a sudden, the Chiron pops up. 36 hours later, ... And all of a sudden we hear Emily's voice. 7 months she's known that piece of information and she drops it after we film the reunion and they turn all the cameras off. I didn't even want to go to dinner, Gina, after the reunion. And she told me that, and I was like, are you kidding me? So she's talking to Gina in Emily's kitchen. And Gina goes, oh, I'm happy that it's coming out. And we hear a doorbell. Emily gets the doorbell. And it's Heather. And Heather's like, hello. And this must have been really put together last moment because Heather did not bring any champagne for Emily. No gift. What is going on? What is going on with the manners? And Heather's like, it's the never ending season. And Emily's like, yeah, thank you to you. And Gina sits Heather down. And Gina's like, why did you wait so long to tell Shannon? And Heather goes, I wasn't holding the information. We still don't know what the fucking information is. I was like, what is it? I wasn't holding the information. I have notes on my phone for what I wanted to talk about at the reunion. And Emily's like, oh, it's Katie. And Gina's like, Katie. So she's saying, oh, whatever this information is wasn't in my notes that I kept for the reunion. And then I was like thinking once I did find out, well, then Heather takes really bad notes because that's huge. Heather was protecting Alexis and John. Anyway, Shannon comes in and Gina's like, look at you in leather pants. And she goes, well, you know what kind of leather pants I'm wearing? And they're like, are those Susan Bender? Which is like Heather Dubrow's, like, in Sonoma, that fashion thing. And they're like, look at you, Shannon, leather pants. John Janssen wishes. Woo. And then Shannon's sitting down, and Gina's like, well, Heather, you had to tell Shannon what you know anyway, or you told her already. And Heather goes, we only had a partial conversation. What happened was the night at the finale party, we go to this dinner. So it's Tamra and Eddie and me and Terry, and we flash back to the finale, not the reunion, the finale. And remember, Tamara and Eddie left early because Tamara said she wasn't drinking. I would love to know if she had a drink at the dinner, but she said she wasn't drinking anymore. And so Eddie is talking to Terry, and Eddie's like, come on, let's go. We'll see you at the restaurant. And Terry's like, you're leaving right now? And they're like, yes. And Terry's like, don't leave me. And then Heather goes, Emily doesn't come to dinner because you're schmammered. And we flash back to Emily trying to go, there's John Janssen, and falling in her white dress. And Gina's like, no. Like Emily was schlammered. And Gina's like, what the fuck? And then Heather goes, and then Alexis and John. And we see Heather and Terry greeting Johnny J. Janssen in the SUV. And Heather's like, are we going to the steak place? And Terry's like, how are you, John? How are you? And Johnny's like, yeah, we'll meet you over there. Yeah, we're going to the steak place. Yeah. So it's like all buddy. So all this show is like for show. Behind the scenes, buddy. Ugh, gross. And this goes to what Emily was saying towards Jen Pedranti. How can you be friends with this? Now, Emily, why don't you ask your friend Heather, how can you be friends with that? That night, they all went out to dinner with Johnny, Jay, and Alexis. Heather goes, I don't remember why it came up. Shannon, you were not the topic of conversation all night. No, just part of the night. And I do believe it was a big part of the night. Totally. If it got into what's about to be revealed, you don't just go into that just a little amuse-bouche. No. And Gina goes, I don't believe that, but that's okay. That's why she's my number one of the season, you guys. And Heather goes, no, it really wasn't, because I talked a lot about myself. No, she goes, no, something comes up about, I'm trying to remember, the night of the accident. And John said, dramatic music. Everybody's reacting. Oh, what. And we cut to our final commercial break. We come back from break, and Heather goes, John said, oh, I heard the crash. And Shannon's like, oh. Heather goes, Tamara and I both went, what the fuck? What are you talking about? And Shannon's like, when you mentioned that to me last night, I literally went numb. It was always, I'll never know the answer, but, and Heather's like, should I not have told you? I'm so sorry. Like, Heather, what a big flop in this moment as well, because you held on to this information that was talked about on the show. This all started with Jeff Lewis saying, listen, I know exactly where John lives. Jeff brought this up on his show, and he was right. He was right that whole time that this dude heard the crash and didn't go and do anything. Sent his daughter, allegedly, but then the daughter didn't do anything either. And guys, it's a mess. But this whole season, they didn't even bring this up at the reunion. They could have brought this up with Alexis out there, because Alexis was at that dinner as well and knew that information. This is why should we ever trust Alexis and John when they withhold this sort of information? This was a storyline on the show. They made Shannon seem like she was crazy because of this. And then Heather's like, oh, hey, we're going to pick up cameras and I'm going to act like I'm a good friend all of a sudden. I'm sorry. Heather is an iconic housewife, but in this moment, it really stunk. Because, I can only assume they were all kind of, I don't know. I mean, I want to believe that Heather was really like, what the fuck? But part of me is scared that they were all kind of laughing and like, well, she was wasted. And she was like, no. And Gina's like, you did the right thing, Heather. Yeah. And then the doorbell rings. And I'm like, oh my God, is it John Janssen? But it's Tamra. And Tamra walks in in this 70s get up with jeans and stuff. And Tamra's like, hey. And Tamra's like, didn't think I'd be seeing you so soon. Because this is allegedly 36 hours later, right? And Gina's like, you missed us though, right? Yeah. And Emma's like, okay, we have questions for you, Tamra. The night at dinner, after the finale, and Heather goes, Emily wanted to know what happened. And Tamra's like, he said that when you took off and he heard the crash, he went to go run for you, but his daughter stopped him and said, no, Dad, this isn't good. You guys are fighting. I'm going to go look. And she went around the corner and said, you were pulling off. Our mouths dropped. Heather goes, he said it wasn't a good night and things were said and done to each other. And Tamra goes, he said that there was an altercation between you and him. And then whispers to Shannon, Tamra's completely mic'd up and Tamra knows it. Goes, she said you hit him. And she's like, yeah. I've heard that. He says I punched him. And what I have to say to that is, wop, gonna hoot. Yeah. I want to Kendrick it. She goes, but I don't remember everything. I don't know what I did that night. Everyone's saying that I punched him. By the way, I don't think she does remember. I do think potentially she did hit him. I also think, I do want to know, I want to know how drunk John was that night because it seemed like they both just really brought out the worst in each other with their drinking. I want to know how the daughter was involved. The daughters were there, right? So it just seemed like a mess, right? And so Shannon's like fully crying again. Like, one more cry for the season. And Gina goes, bottom line is, Shannon, you were having a really difficult time. And then when you have alcohol, things get mixed up in your head and you make bad decisions. You have changed your relationship with alcohol. And Shannon goes, but you guys, what if I did such bad things? And Gina goes, if you did something bad on the videos, you're going to take responsibility for what you did. Just like you took responsibility for what you did that night. It doesn't make you... And Emily goes, a terrible person. Gina goes, a terrible person. Exactly, Emily. Man, love Gina. Love her. Man, this is the kind of tough love, but at the same time, it doesn't... And like, listen, I get it, man. I've been there. I had a couple drinking moments where like, I don't know. I mean, like, really, there are moments that you do get out of control in life. And you're like, it's like really, it's really scary, right? And they're like, it's an isolated. And Gina's like, the whole situation was a bad situation. And and Tamara's like, yeah, bad situation from the get-go. But at the end of the day, Shannon, you're a human being, Tamara says. Oh, something she forgot about Shannon all season long. And Emily goes, can I ask, though, Tamara, if he was talking at dinner that night after the finale 4 months ago, 5 months ago, didn't you feel like in the moment, even if you weren't getting along with her, that she should have known? Yes, Emily, yes! Emily goes, it was a missing puzzle piece. And Heather goes, it was a lot to process. It was a lot. Was it? Was it a lot to process? I processed it within a night. Like I was like, oh, I processed it. I know how I feel. Tamara goes, I didn't, you know what? Good question. I didn't think of it at the actual reunion. Guys, how did you not? The videos were brought up. I didn't think of it at the actual reunion. See, this is bullshit. It's more lies, and we're just letting it go. Tamara goes, but me and Heather had so many conversations. Okay, so you had so many conversations with Heather, but you forgot about it. And so many conversations with Heather, but Heather didn't put it in her notes app. Tamara goes, because Heather would go, what are we going to do with this information? Because I think Shannon needs to know. I'm sorry, this ain't holding a lot of water, but we're going to let it slide, right? We're going to let it slide. Nothing's going to come from this, so we'll just move on, I guess, right? Gina's like, do you understand also a lot of this is because of him as well? So she's pointing to like Tamara and Shannon, their relationship. And Gina's like, she was so worried for you because she was the closest to you and she was watching all this shit happen. I love that Gina's like, I'm tired of being friends with Shannon. It's your turn again, Tamara. And Heather goes, you know what breaks my heart? You're such an amazing, like really, Shannon, like strong, smart, beautiful woman, a great mom. And by the way, Heather's starting to tear up. Like Heather's adding this to her IMDb. Like the fact that Heather probably went home that day, like I literally had to kiss Shannon Beador's ass in that scene. And Shannon's like, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. And Heather goes, it's true. It's true. But once again, Heather did not feel that during the season. It's really hard. I mean, I think I know how I feel, but it is really hard because you're like, where did it change for them? And sometimes is it because of the reaction from the audience that made them realize they were in the wrong? Do they truly think, like, realize now they're in the wrong? What's their relationship with Alexis and John now? I mean, there's so many questions. I want to know how Tamra and Alexis are. I want to know how Heather and Alexis are. And Shannon goes, I feel incredibly bonded to you all right now. We are the sisterhood of the traveling OC pants. I want to share pants with you. And Tamara goes, we love you. We love you. And Tamara goes, I love you. That's why I was so mad at you, crazy, goofy. It comes from a place of love. And Emily goes, that's some strange love over there. Emily's very nice with Tamara, and I think, they are very good friends. But also, Emily kind of has Tamara's number. And Tamara goes, maybe me and Shannon can go to therapy together. And Emily goes, I think you should. And Tamara goes, friendship therapy? And Emily goes, I've had to go to friendship therapy. You should do it. I want to know more about Emily going to friendship therapy now. And Heather's like, really? Acting like she cares. And Tamara's like, there's such a thing? And Emily's like, yeah. And then Heather goes, Tamara's starting therapy on Monday. And Tamra goes, oh, fuck my life. Thank you. And Heather goes, she thought it was yesterday, but she got a week reprieve. So remember the reunion, Tamra said, I start therapy on Monday. So we're supposed to believe that it was actually the next Monday. Part of me wonders if this truly was filmed 36 hours later, or Tamra had already gone to the therapy and all the explosion about the on the spectrum comments were already happening, but they didn't want to bring it up in this scene. So they're like, the therapy is next week. I know we said it was this week it's actually next week. Part of me almost feels like this is a little, I don't know. I don't know if I trust the timeline, if that makes sense. Tamra goes, I just want you to know, Shannon, that being friends with Alexis was never to get back at you. And Gina goes, I was sitting right across from her, and I told her during the break that I could see that you were feeling so horrible, Tamra. And Tamra goes, well, I think when Alexis was talking, and Shannon's like, yeah, the friends with benefits, like he didn't care. And Tamara's like, yeah, and we were locking eyes, and it was a lot. I bet Alexis was livid. Shannon goes, I mean, clearly we have a lot to discuss, but I'm happy that you and I are here right now. And that's on the agenda, moving forward. And she's holding Tamara's hand. And Shannon goes, can I just say something? To have something like this bring us all together, I'm very grateful for it. And my lowest moment of my life was the night of my DUI. I believe this. And I don't know. I just feel like we are sitting here over a year after my DUI and discussing that horrible night. But yet somehow and she starts crying again. I just feel so much love around me right now. And it is overwhelming. And Heather goes, okay, we need a group hug. And so they all go in for the group hug, the big hug. And Gina's like, me too. Yeah, we do love each other, And Shannon's like, this tragedy is bringing us together. Heather and Tamra going, whoo, we just saved our asses. Whoo, boy. Whoa, the truth feels good. Woo. So they're all hugging. But, Shannon really does seem like very thankful. And it's, I just want to remind people once again, it was a really tough season for Shannon. So this is ending better than she ever possibly could have imagined. Do I think she should trust Tamra and Heather at this point? No. But whatever. Shannon's going to do Shannon, right? And Gina's like, we do love you. And they're like, we love you. And then Gina goes, but you have got to get better taste in men. And Travis has huge balls. And that's it, folks. That is a wrap on season 18. We did it every flippin' episode. You've been here with me. We did it. I'm so thankful for you guys. I'm thankful this show is over. I've got a lot to process. I've got a lot of space I have to give myself. That I thought that last scene, it's a good tying things up with a bow. Also, Jenn and Katie weren't there. They have not DM'd me back yet. Hopefully I'll hear over the weekend and I'll put it in Monday's Pop Culture Roundup. Also, obviously, they're not considered OGs, but I still think it would have been nice to include them, but maybe they're too much of friends with Alexis, even though I think Tamra seemed like she was the best friend to Alexis on that stage, and Tamra was there. So that was a little hard too, and I wonder from Jenn and Katie's perspective if that was hurtful, that last scene, and what the thought process was did they know about it, or was that a surprise to them as well? So I just had some questions like that. But yeah, Shannon got through it. She's still Shannon. Yeah. Tamra got out by the skin of her teeth. She had a positive ending. We don't know how much we can believe it, but that's Tamra. Tamra lives to fight another day. I mean, Tamra has a lot of tenacity. I will give her that. I mean, and at this point, when you're on TV this many seasons, you do have to give her a little bit of she clocks in. I'm a little confused about, and I'll be confused what her storyline will be next season, but I think there should be no cast changes. I just do. I think there should be no cast changes. I do not want Alexis back. I don't think she will be back. We'll probably maybe get one new friend or maybe a new housewife, but I think keep all of these ladies, but you need some sort of driving action. So we'll see who has the hot potato next season, but we've got so much to focus on in the meantime. We got Salt Lake City. We got Beverly Hills. We got Southern Charm coming back. We got Below Deck. We got Married to Medicine. The hits just keep coming. So keep joining us here on So Bad It's Good. If you get a second, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'm leaving for New York. I'll be in the Big Apple for the next week. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys all next week. So whatever. Yeah. Bye, baddies. Bye.